everybody. Hello.
What's going on out there?
What's up? What's up?
That was a
Welcome.
hell of an intro. It was an interesting intro.
Was it? You like it?
I was getting into it. I was trying to figure out, where the destination was, and I dug it.
It was a mystery. I want to leave it open for everyone's imagination. That was actually, I have a personal channel where for a while when I lived in Taiwan years before I started doing the comics YouTubes, I wanted to I had an idea of filming just trips around Taiwan and motorcycling all around, different places and just showing everybody different cities and stuff. And I took a few videos and then gave up on it. But that's what that attempt was from. Because I thought it would kind of be cool because, I don't know.
It actually was pretty cool.
I think it's really cool.
I dug it.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Maybe I'll get back to it if I can. I should be going back soon. As long if we don't get blown up. But that's a different issue.
Hope that doesn't
I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, I really do hope that doesn't happen. That would suck. I would have a lot of trouble getting home. Well, anyhow, I am here today with Joe Sonntag and Kayla. Yay! And we're talking about Reaper Destroyer.
Reaper Destroyer. Yeah, that is my baby. That is the project I've been working on now for a number of years. Finally, thanks to crowdfunding, Comicsgate, independent comics, #Iron Age, I'm able to get that out. So it's been a trip the last year working on this thing. It's been awesome.
Awesome. The art looks amazing, and we're gonna take a look at the campaign and show everybody how awesome it is. It's doing so well. You're over $60,000 already. That's super cool.
Insane. Yeah, it's insane. We just crossed 1,000 backers the other day, and that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. Yeah.
Healthier. Yeah, that's a big milestone. I think sometimes backer count almost matters more in terms of, because that's your audience. Of course you want to have the funding to get the products made, but your audience count is really what matters. You want that's growth, right?
As soon as we were getting close to 1,000 backers, I hadn't really thought about it before because it wasn't a number I thought that the campaign was going to get to. The whole thing is new. This is the first time I crowdfunded, so the entire thing was new. Whatever was coming in, I was extremely excited for. And the closer we got, I think we launched a supplemental 2 weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago. And I wasn't even keeping track of the backer count until I see Bancroft in the channel. He was in the chat that morning, and he kind of posted, he's like, wow, almost to 1,000 backers. And that was the first time it kind of dawned on me. I looked at it, and we were at that point at 950 or something like that. And I was like, holy shit. And ever since that point, I was like, we got to reach it now. And we did. Just over the weekend, we had one backer on Bancroft's channel that, while Bancroft was streaming, that backed the book, and then we went on Jeremy Ice and Fire's channel afterwards, and somebody back there to be the 1,000th backer 1,000. I can't say 1,000th. Is that a word? 1,000th?
1,000th is a word.
That is
sounds so weird though.
It does sound weird, and it's very hard to pronounce. But you do have a 1,000th.
Yep.
No, that's big. That's big. Congratulations and well deserved.
Thank you.
Healthier also said they just backed Reaper Destroyer. Woo!
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's been a trip watching everybody come out and support an unknown. Just the amount of people out there that want to put money behind me is awesome, and it's very humbling. And I take it, it's very important to me. This book is going to be coming out hopefully in August. Everything is looking good. Hopefully get this thing to print in July, and then hopefully start fulfilling in August. So keep my fingers crossed and nothing happens between that and now, but on schedule it looks like so far. So
yes, awesome. That's good to hear. Fingers crossed. And thank you, mods, for posting a link. And the link to the campaign is pinned in the chat now. So everybody gonna go check that out. And I'm gonna pull up campaigns in a minute, but I do have a $20 super chat from Fusebox. Thank you so much, Fusebox. Congratulations on Reaper Destroyer, y'all. Outlaw Knights issue 2 only has about 13 days left. Space pirates, gun adventures, sexy people, intrigue. Ooh, I like all those things, especially sexy people and guns.
Sexy people.
Yeah, that's all I need. Sexy people and guns. This series has it all, only on the Kicking Starter. Cool. Everybody go check that out, Outlaw Knights. Thank you, Fusebox.
The Kicking Starter.
The Kicking Starter. I like that. The Kicking Starter.
It's a funny way to put it. Very creative. I like that. Hey, Olive 626 is here. Down Go Solo. Alex VRB with the links as usual. Y'all are awesome. All right, let me pull up the campaign so you guys can talk about it. And we can. I can stop blabbing and wasting your time. Let's do that, shall we? All right.
Blab. Never.
I blab all the time, but thank you for putting up with it. All right. Look at this beauty. $61,650 and just over 1,000 backers. It's beautiful. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, like it's hard for me to sit here when anytime someone says thank you about the campaign, like there's so many people that had a hand in helping this campaign be as big as it was. I put together a group of people before I launched, just to kind of pick the brains of backers, collectors, and just to see what they liked about campaigns. So, shout out to Rick Saylor, Amanda B, Jeremy of Ice and Fire, and Leandro Elgerin, as well as Sean Arendt, my co-host on Ott and Stuff. All had a big hand in helping put this campaign together, the tiers, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, Michael Bancroft for launching it, and just what an amazing prep to launch and launch night it was just insanity. So a lot of people had a hand in making this campaign the success it is. So it's hard for me to just take the credit. So thank you to everybody out there who's put hard time into this.
That's truer words have never been said. It really is. I think I've had this experience with my book as well. It does feel like you kind of have a team, and it's really not just you. It's like, I think if you're the creator, and especially if you're like writing and drawing, it's like you're doing like a lot of the work, and it's nonstop work. But you're very aware that it's the team and the people promoting it, and the backers as well. It feels like it's everyone helping this thing happen, and it's really awesome. I think that's what we aim for as creatives, to just share ideas and see other people like it.
It was a brand new experience, to see how many people were excited about just helping out creators in general, not just because it was me or anything, but just you see something that looks good, people like it. I think you're going to be great on your own success there, brother. You got it.
I think you'll be fine, Michael.
yeah. I think you got it figured out, my friend. But yeah, just see everybody just kind of come together. It was something new. It was totally new, the whole crowdfunding game, and just again seeing the amount of people that are excited to put money behind the project and get it funded. I couldn't do this without everybody's help. I'd still be trying to get this book picked up by somebody, instead of being able to do it myself and actually just dive into living my dream right now, which is, drawing this book that I've been working on really essentially since 2006.
2006. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. Not this particular book. When I created the character, when I first tried to get the book picked up, and that's a whole nother story. The good old days of the early 2000s, going to conventions, all that kind of stuff, trying to get the book picked up by Image and whatnot. It didn't work back then. But the time off, I came back in 2018 or so. We started retooling the character, retooling the story, and getting it ready for launch. And then found Comicsgate and was welcomed with open arms. And it was just a very inspiring atmosphere at the time over here. Especially with all the other creators I got to know. It was really cool to see their success, what they did to have that success, and then just to kind of emulate that as best as I can going forward. And just to, see the ability, the results to be able to actually try to do this for a living, which is all the goal. I feel like that's the goal we all have.
Yeah, definitely. That is the dream. And I couldn't agree more with the what you said about the positive atmosphere that we feel around here. I think that's what I was looking for, because I think a lot of creators have a similar experience, though, or at least I've heard of it. Like, people who try to pitch their books to publishers, but they weren't getting anywhere, or nobody really wanted them, or like even if it wasn't something political, who knows? It just didn't work out, but then we end up here in CG in the Iron Age, and it's it seems like this was where I feel like this is where I was meant to be, and seems like that's the same for you. And I'm glad it turned out that way. I'm glad that Reaper Destroyer ended up here instead of as an image book, because you probably get more of the money and more prestige and more control.
Oh, yeah.
That's just way better than going to a publisher, especially nowadays. Like, this is the place to be.
And when you can own your own thing outright, you know, like that's, to me, like that's the ultimate goal. And this is, Sean on ARTSHOW, my co-host, has said it before, it's kind of like a renaissance of the indie scene, you know, like crowdfunding is allowing so many people to get out there and get their books out on the shelves or just in people's hands that they might not have been able to before. And it's like, you know, this is the time to take advantage of that and really get your stuff out there. You know, like there's no excuses. Like you have an ability to do it, put a good product out there, and people are going to come out and back it, you know, and then just be good to the fans, you know, be good to the backers, give them what they want.
Yes, give them what they want. That's all you have to do. Please them.
It's very simple. It's a very simple formula.
Deliver from.
Yeah.
This art is fantastic, by the way. So you write and draw, right?
Yeah, so on the book, I have Mark Poulton is on the book as my editor, and he's also helping out with scripting. But I write; it's my story. I write it. I do script it, and just kind of work with Mark when it comes to the editing. But yeah, this is a story or a character, I should say, because the story has changed quite a bit since 2006. But a character I created back in 2006, when I was still kind of learning to draw. You know, I was still probably a little ways away from being able to be a professional artist. In a lot of ways, I still am. You know, I'm still learning lots of things, techniques, and all that kind of stuff. I'm no near a finished product, but in 2006, I just doodled this character out. I thought the design looked kind of cool. The name came to me, and that's kind of where it all started. And this has always been a brain dump of all my loves from pop culture that I grew up with, especially in the 90s. I think the 90s are one of the best decades. The 80s, 90s are two of the best decades, I think, for creativity when it comes to stories in comics and movies and music. It was just a very inventive, 20-year period there. And there's so many good things that just kind of influenced this comic book, and everything I love about dark heroes or immortal characters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Guyver, anything at that time that influenced me, it basically helped form the story and just kind of dumped into it. It's expansive. I'll say that.
I like hearing that. I love the art. It's so the design is so cool. I don't know how else to. I mean, it's just cool. Like, look at this design. I really like the character design. I think with I can see like this image influence, but it's almost a little darker, and I can see so many influences from that era, but it's also modernized in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that I wear my influences on my sleeve when it comes to art. Like I heavily influenced by the '90s artists. Guys like Silvestri and Kyon and Booth and Platt, and like all those guys in the '90s. It at some point inspired me to draw the way I draw, and it's I guess you could call it updated. I've had people straight up say, "Dude, I love your '90s style," and then I've had other people say like, definitely image esque, but kind of updated to I guess modern stuff, whatever that really is. To me, it's just comic book art. Honestly, like growing up, the comic book art that I saw in the day, to me, that's comic book art. When I see that kind of style art, that's comic books to me, and that's just kind of what I wanted to do. I've always been a big fan of the dark heroes, going back to Ghost Rider, Darkness Spawn, all these characters. It's just they're funner. Is that a word? They're more fun characters to
now
write.
It is.
Yeah, we'll make it a word. It's funner
it's a word.
to write characters like that, that are a little bit morally ambiguous or whatever you want to say inside the story. So, yeah, this is just my loves, all my loves. If you read this book and you're a 90s kid, or actually I was born in the 80s, but if you were a teenager in the 90s, you'll probably understand where influences come from. Yeah, I'm old. I'm getting old, all right? Jeez, calm down.
Yeah, no, say wise and experienced.
There you go.
Hi,
yeah.
Hi, everyone in chat. A lot of a lot of regulars. Yeah, it's the gray. You've got that wise gray coming in now. Now you command the respect. View it as a positive.
At least. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and it's John is in the chat as well. Hello, everybody. Oh, I have a before we move on, real quick, I have a member chat, and I actually caught it this time. Alex VRB, member for 16 months. Holy crap! Thank you so much. Hail to the amazing chat and all the fans, without whom none of this would be possible. Yes, 100%. Hail to Kayla and Joe, and thank you to Rini for promoting so many fantastic CG creators. Your generosity does not go unnoticed. Thank you. Well, I just want to give back to all of you, and as long as you're happy, I am happy. Thank you very much, Alex. And Alex is awesome, and he's always in chat posting links. He's been a member forever, so I appreciate your support so much.
Same here. Appreciate it.
Gracias. Her and Hutzel's here as well. Hello. All right. Yeah, so I like what you said about kind of darker heroes or superheroes or almost anti-heroes in a way. I think I'm not a big superhero person. I made no secret of that. I've always been more fantasy, a little sci-fi, but the types of superheroes I like are the darker ones, are things like Batman or Punisher and things that have a lot of grit to it, because I just, even with sci-fi, I like the darker stories and with a little bit of horror element. And I think, no lie, Reaper Destroyer is one of the new superhero franchises that I really genuinely like, because usually I don't latch onto this genre, and like the design is really cool. It's not just the art style. Like the art style is you definitely, it's like a modernized image. That's what I would call it. But like the design is it's well done. It's like catchy, and it's not, I don't know, it's hard to come up with a new superhero design that hasn't really been done before. It's like you can see a little bit of Witchblade, but it's also not, and it's a little like the cape is Spawn, but but it's also not derivative. So well done on that. I'm just gonna keep on talking about how much I like the design, and I'm forever.
I appreciate, like, when I originally designed the character, he had it was a little bit more grounded. He had a trench coat and like all this stuff, and he was kind of more of a mix between like Moon Knight and the Punisher. And then I updated the story to modern day, and the trench coat just didn't make sense. And I was actually trying to stray away from doing the cape, because there's so many characters with hoods and capes. So it's just like, like I'm just adding another character with a hood and cape. But I was talking to Sean, co-host on Odd Stuff, and one of my best friends, and he basically was like, dude, fuck it. He's like, who gives a shit? He's like, just put them in a cape and go out and tell your story. So I ended up doing that. And honestly, the character design is, again, it's a brain dump of everything that I love. All the characters. There's so many characters that influence the design of this. Even characters that you might not be able to see within the design itself that kind of helped bring the character out. That it's actually kind of cool. One day I'm going to sit down and make a list of all the characters that helped design this character. And I think people will be pretty surprised, because a lot of people just see like Spawn, the Darkness, or Moon Knight. And those were definitely characters that influenced it for sure. But there's also characters like Ripclaw and Gambit, and Ragman. If anybody remembers Ragman, that's a DC character from back in the day. That's a character that influenced the design as well.
That's cool. Yeah. It's interesting seeing when you delve into your influences, and sometimes you surprise yourself. Have you had that experience where it's like, oh, you didn't even know that was what you were drawing from until you thought about it? So those things are really cool. But
it's what I love about art. Collectively, all the art that we see over the years, we just take in. It's in our head. So when we're drawing stuff, when we're thinking of things, especially if you've been reading comics for years or just taking in all these designs by these great artists, whoever they may be, whatever the characters may be, it really does kind of help form what you create. It's almost like this amalgamation. Is that the right word? Of just like all these different character designs, all these different styles that kind of come out and create something new. And I was lucky that people dug this design, because I liked it. I was like, is it too much? I don't know. But I showed it off and people dug it from the beginning. I was like, all right, well, good. I'm glad I struck that nerve. Nightwatch, that's a good one, Michael Bancroft. Yeah. Nightwatch is another character. And Nightwatch was a ripoff of Spawn, when you think about it. The Marvel character Nightwatch. But yeah, that's another character that heavily influenced. I like capes. Capes are so fun when you're drawing. I mean, Rena, you know this, being an artist, you can do so much with capes to create energy, to create movement, to, it was one of the reasons why I was like, I'm going to give him a cape that's kind of like Spawn. It's not a ripoff of Spawn, but I always enjoyed the fact that in the artistic style of Capullo and McFarlane, when they were working on Spawn in the early mid-90s, there was so much you could do with that character because of the cape, because it's a supernatural cape, You don't have to worry about it being a normal size. And I was like, screw it. Like, let's have something similar to that, because it's just something I enjoy drawing. And this book is about what I enjoy doing, right? I mean, when it comes down to it, it's the style I like to draw. It's the kind of themes I like to draw. And story-wise, it's just everything that I liked. I'm hoping I'm click with the readers with it as well.
Awesome. I think that's the best place to create from. You're not thinking. You need to get to that place where you're not thinking too much about, well, what would sell, or what's like the coolest agenda
right.
that would like you. I think people can tell, and there's just a sort of magic when you're creating something you really enjoy, and that's when what you create is really true, and people will resonate with it, and you're like, you've gotten there. That's cool.
Thank you. And I appreciate all the comments, guys, on the designs. I appreciate that. I see the Anvil asked if it's more like a cloak. It is more like a cloak. And I've described it before on my channel as the suit's got like a supernatural feel to it. And I wanted that kind of Reaper kind of tone as well. But there's some people might think this is funny, but the designs for the Dementors in the Harry Potter movies, and I'm talking about like the designs of special effects.
Boo.
I know. And I've said this before, but those designs were cool.
Those were cool. Yeah, those were cool designs.
The design was cool. The idea and just how it flowed, and like that's kind of the aspect of what I was going for. Reaper Destroyer's cape. That's why it's different than Spawn. Like it's kind of got like this lifelessness to itself, but it's always going to have movement to it. It's not just a cape where it just hangs. There's movement to it always, and it's because it's got like that kind of Dementor feel, I guess you could say, with Wraith kind of, Banshee feel.
Yeah, I think the cape really adds a lot to design, because if I'm holding my hands on the screen as if you guys can see what I'm doing, but like if you block out the cape, that makes everything so different. Like that cape adds to that almost how do I put it? Not horror, but almost like deathly. It's like this character is tattered and dark. It has something to do with like death, and it's a little Dementory, but in a cooler way than Harry Potter.
Yeah, because I'm
not a big fan of Harry Potter.
way cooler way than Harry Potter for sure. But I mean, the story is it's an anti-hero sci-fi thriller fantasy. Like I go into Kayla's told me this before, and I didn't realize I was doing it, but I go into a lot of different genres, I guess, within the book itself, because I'm a big world builder. I mean, Rini, when we've had you on before, we've talked about how you build worlds, right? And that's why I enjoy talking to you about that. Like, and that's the same thing I like to do. I like to build worlds. I have my own mythology, own history. It's a modern day. It's kind of like a new modern day take of what we see, but just it's orchestrated differently. And the story really goes from the beginning of time to the end of time, and allows me to have so much room to play with storylines and character development for as long as I want to. And this is an ongoing story. Like, this is something I'm trying to do as an ongoing series. That's kind of what I was raised on with comics. The graphic novels are great. The miniseries are awesome. I just liked ongoing stories, story arc after story arc after story arc, and build and build and build. And that's what we're doing here with this character, and trying to set it up so that there's tons of different ways I can go with this character, or the supporting characters in the future as well.
That's what I like to hear. I'm big on world building, so I would love to hear
absolutely.
Now that we have over 100 people watching now, so thank you all for being here. Hit like, check out the campaign we're talking about. It's pinned at the top of the chat, and this is a perfect time to get into the meat of the story, and I want to hear all about the lore and the world building. But real quick, I do have another member chat. I caught it. I'm so on top of member chat. Actually, it's not me. It's LSBRB. Thank you for yelling at me in chat every time. So StreamYards doesn't show me member chat, so I can only see like regular chats and super chats. I hate StreamYards. My homie Ellie Munoz, member for 5 months. Thank you so much for your support. He says Berserk $29.99. Thank you very much. No, it's not $29.99 anymore, but yes, we are all. Well, I'm a fan of Berserk, and I talk about it all the damn time. So, Christopher Gorey for $4.99. Hey LCG, thank you. Thank you very much for the $4.99. And there was another chat that I had pulled up, but I forgot. Oh, right. Somebody was asking, what's the difference between the supplemental and the main book?
Okay, so the main book is just that. It's just the first issue of the series, I guess you could say, of a four issue story arc of an ongoing series. A supplemental book is backup stories. So I've got 2 10-page backup stories, one written by Kayla right here, one written by me with art by Oliver Isabedra and Fabio Samo does the art for Kayla's story. And then I'm reprinting the original preview book from 2006. I've got a lot of requests to do a reprinting in general of that. I didn't really want to do that, but I was like, I'm going to put it in the supplemental book so you guys can kind of see where the story started from. It's a little bit different. So when you guys read it, it's obviously from 2006, 2007. You can see a lot of the errors of the growth I had to be as a writer, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people wanted to see it, so I reprinted it in there. And there's also some extras, some surprises I'm keeping in there for the people that back the book. So I want to keep that one under wraps.
You're going to be inspired when you see his work and how it progressed. It's amazing.
Yes, that's the best part of seeing like just any project like this. No, it's so rewarding to see somebody start like where they started from. I mean, we all started from nothing. Like every artist used to suck. So if you're struggling with your art or your writing or your anything out there, just know every single master out there used to suck. So if they could do it, so can you.
True.
Positivity. But yeah, I love seeing things like that, and I can't wait. Inspire me. Yes, I want to be inspired.
And I have to give a shout out. Like I wasn't originally planning on doing a supplemental book on the campaign. When we launched this campaign in the Destroyer tier, which is the all-in tier, I announced that there are going to be 2 mystery books that we're going to put on the campaign as we went. The first mystery book was a Dale Keown cover that we did, and then the second mystery book was going to be something else. I had a different different idea in mind, and I'll probably do something like that in the future. But because the campaign was doing so well, it allowed me to have some extra money to go spend on artists and extra artists, colorists to put the supplemental together. And there were ideas I had for backup stories I thought would be cool, and I ended up finding some talented people to work with. One right up here, Kayla, was fantastic. Reading her stuff, I really wanted to do a story with her. And then I saw some artists that I really wanted to work with. I was like, you know what? I've got the extra money because the campaign's done so well. It wasn't originally an expense I was thinking about, but let's put it back into it. Let's create something else on the campaign and expand this universe, because the ultimate goal is I want to expand this universe, the Superior Press universe, which is my brand. It's where I'm putting all my books out. Reaper Destroyer is the first. I want to have other books down the line of different characters that I've created or spin-off from this book that you're gonna meet within the story, and hire other people to come on and draw it and write it, and just kind of expand it as we go. Because I grew up loving Image. I always wanted to have my own studio within Image Comics, and this is the closest I can get, and it's something I own myself. So it's exciting. But that's always been the goal, and that's going to be the goal until people stop buying. I guess I'm going to be making this stuff until I can't hold a pencil anymore.
The sales will keep going on. People are going to buy it forever as everybody go back to this book right now.
Well, I think too, once people read it, because you look at it and you see all of this beautiful art. The art it's gorgeous. It's fun and it's action oriented, but Joe is an amazing writer. He's
amazing. Huh?
He is an amazing writer. He is. And obviously, like, I'm a little biased because I know a lot more than the audience out there right now. Like, I know about the universe that you're building and all the different characters you're gonna have come in and everything. But he says he could do like 25 books right now. I think he could do at least 100 because the universe is so vast and he has so many different kinds of characters. And he writes in a way that it's kind of like how would I put it? He puzzle pieces. So you have to pay attention to the things that he's writing. So things that you don't think that are important may just be important to the story someplace down the line. So he's incredible all around. So I know, like, this art is great, but he has a very well constructed story and a universe that is very vast, and it's deep and thought-provoking, and characters that people are going to love and they're going to hate. They're going to evoke emotion, and that is important with writing. So, yeah. I want Joe to talk more about his universe. So I'm so happy that I get to be here for this, because I'm always telling him, like, you got to talk about the universe. You got to talk about this stuff. So you're the perfect person for him to discuss about it, because you're like I'm a big fan
the
of
world
you.
building that you've done.
The world building that you have done, what you have created, is so impressive. And Joe actually has done the same thing. He has,
except the language. I didn't create a language
or
it's
anything
not too
like
late.
that. But that's because Joe is more, he has like the dark fantasy elements to it. He does, and he didn't realize it, I feel like, at first, but he has more of a sci-fi feel, I think, than what would be traditional fantasy. But there's definitely dark fantasy in this, and he it's like you said, an amalgamation of different genres put together, even a little bit of conspiracy theory in there.
Ooh, yes. I like those are fun.
Yeah.
Keeps
like I said,
he can elaborate on that. I want him to talk about it. So I'm hoping by me opening my big mouth right now that he'll get going.
Oh yeah.
I was reading the chat too.
I'm hoping he'll get going.
It is the perfect time. I would love to hear about the world and the story. I suppose we can start with can you let everyone know who is Reaper Destroyer? How did he become the way he is now?
Ooh.
Well, that's the mystery.
That's the mystery.
Okay, all right.
That is the big mystery in the book.
Next question.
The book is very much shrouded in a mystery. Of why this guy's in the suit. For anybody who doesn't know, Matthew Walker, who is the star of the book, is trapped in a supernatural suit of armor, basically imprisoned with the ancient spirit of death, who's trying to possess his soul. That is like the bare bones aspect of what the book is about. To dive into a lot more is crazy, because there's so many spoiler areas, because it is such a mystery that we put you into right from page one of what's going on, why is this happening to this person, who's trying to use it for their will, and like all this kind of stuff. But the world building is something we could definitely get into, because that's kind of interesting, just kind of how I came up with the ideas for the lore of the world. So in 2012, so I was in a band for a while. Just spoilers. I was in a band for about a decade. I took a break from comics after trying to get Reaper Destroyer out for the first time. Went into music, had success there. Was in there for about 10 years, just touring and just doing the whole band life. But during that time, I really got into conspiracies, like heavily, about the 2011, 2012, maybe in 2010, but got into conspiracies heavily. And when one rabbit hole led you down another rabbit hole. And I spent years just diving into different conspiracies, from government to, secret societies and like all this kind of stuff, fake history, rewriting of history. And also I grew up religious. I'm a Christian. So I also got into, there are a lot of Christian conspiracies, if you want to call them out there, biblical conspiracies. How about we say that I got into as well. And all this stuff, just one day I was sitting around before I was even thinking about getting back into comics. This story kind of hit me of this like ancient group of people. Let's say, is anyone heard of the gap theory? Most people haven't when I put this out here. But the gap theory is this idea that there was a gap. It's a biblical conspiracy, but it's an idea that there is a gap between Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, from the time the earth was created and the time that Adam was created. Like, there's a gap of untold years with this race of people that were responsible.
Creationism.
Could be that too. But in that time, there was a group of people. They were called the pre-Adamites, whatever, and they were really responsible for the wonders of the world, the pyramids, Atlantis, like all this kind of stuff. So I was thinking about that. I was like, well, that would be awesome. I've always been a huge Tolkien fan. I've always wanted to have, ages, so in my story, I guess you could say there's 3 ages or whatever. And it all starts back in the first age. And this is something that the book is going to be kind of going back and forth as we are unveiling the current story. We're also going to dive into what has happened in history leading up to all of this. But basically, in this book, there's an immortal race of humans called the Elder Sons, and they're kind of, I guess, if you want to say, they had semi superpowers, right? Not to the point of what like DC comics would be or Marvel comics would be, but there's characters that they're more advanced than human beings. They had better technology, all that kind of stuff. And they rose to the heights of technology before, like the creation of Adam. Back then was the Kayla left.
No, I'm removing a cat. You didn't hear all that get knocked out.
Was that your cat again?
The fat one. Yeah, I'm moving him.
Oh, fat cat. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, without getting into too many spoilers, because I have a tendency to dive right into story. There was something that happened. Yeah, there was something that happened catastrophic back in the day that kind of took all the technology and wiped out that world. Since then, a remnant of those immortals have been hiding here on Earth, whether it's inside the Earth, you know, if anyone knows those conspiracy theories, and they have basically been the secret societies that have come in. They've mingled themselves in and out of humanity, guiding the course of the world to their whims to make them rich. They pose as kings, pharaohs, queens, the royal elite, the royal bloodlines in the world. And then that's getting into like your more conspiracy aspects. But the main part is that there's always been a control that hasn't been humankind. There's always been a force greater than humankind has been controlling all of us to their whims, you know. And they're at a point right now where those two groups are in this heavy civil war. And a lot of it is having to do to trying to get this new power that is this Reaper Destroyer character, which we'll dive into actually in the book, and why he's important and why he's showing up now, and why it's a, you know, kind of this battle of possession between Matt and this ancient spirit of death. But there's, man, yeah, I could go on forever with that. But if you know conspiracies or anything, I've tailored a lot of stuff around both biblical and modern conspiracies. You know, if you're a fan of Alex Jones, you're probably going to recognize some stuff of this, because I was big into Alex Jones in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So a lot of that comes into that. And yeah, it's expansive. I'll just say it's a very expansive story, but very shrouded in mystery. So it's hard to talk about the actual book right now because there's so much mystery from page 1 that you're going to dive into that I don't want to spoil for anybody when you read it.
I know that feeling. It's like you're pitching the book like, trust me, there's a lot of fun stuff, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah, it's a hard book to pitch, because most people will get on there and be like, oh, you know, there's this character and they do this and this is the reason why they're there and blah blah blah, and you can just put it all out there. Mine's just like, it's a straight up mystery. You guys it's gonna be unraveled as you read it. So if I say stuff that's going to happen too much in issue 1, I'm going to spoil things setting up issue 2. All I can really talk about is the world that I've kind of created coming up to this point in time in the world.
All right. Are you, I can see why you hang with Bancroft. Are you into are you going to use any of the Anunnaki stuff, Enki and Lil and all that Mesopotamian things?
Yes, absolutely. But not those actual names. So I've taken like all those ideas of the Anunnaki, you know, any kind of conspiracy you can think of, and I've changed names of races and characters and just fit them into this world, right? So like the immortal race, instead of being the sons of God, which were the characters in the Bible and in this kind of Bible kind of conspiracy, I renamed them the Elder Sons, and they're that race, but in my world, they're an immortal race called the Elder Sons, but they're based on the sons of God, just like I have other characters based on the Anunnaki or the Nephilim, you know, if anybody's familiar with those characters as well. So it's just, I didn't want to take those names because I wanted everything to be able to fit within my story, and I could just have ownership of the way I tell lore, I guess.
I understand that. Yeah. It's I mean, a name is a name and people get used to it, but it's always good to sort of, I think, mentally customize things a bit, right? So it feels like it's your world in your mind. Well, even though you cannot spoil too much and you can't tell us everything, even though I tried to drag it out of him. I'm sorry, it didn't work.
I try to offer it up too much. Like I have to have people say like, stop talking about it, because you're going to just go right into spoilers.
No, I think you were doing fine. I think you could branch off on more about how you have this aspect of fantasy and technology in the book, especially like when it comes to certain races you have. So
I was trying to respond real quick. My bad. I was
you put your hand up like
I was typing in the chat and I misspelled the word, but I was trying to say yes to Jeremy. I was talking about Genesis 6. Yeah.
It's like I was like, I didn't spoil anything that's not in the ash can, so don't even go there. But no, he does. He has a very like. So the Elder Sons are a cool race to me because not only like they are immortal, but it's like the perfect combination of like your fantasy with modern technology, science fiction. And Joe can elaborate more on that.
Well, amongst some of these conspiracies that you get into, there, the legend of Atlantis or any of these other mythical cities, just Lemuria. These fantasy like technologically advanced cities back in the day were always a big influence on these characters, the Elder Sons. So I really wanted to mesh, like the fantasy aspect of world building when we talk about like Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff, Tolkien, but also mesh that with technology because it's fun to draw for one. And if you're going to have an advanced civilization, I'm just like thinking, let's go to the stars. Like this civilization back in the time before time advanced in technology over what we have today. So it just gives you this ability when you're drawing stories or flashbacks from that time, you can do a lot of character designs, vehicle designs, armor designs, like all that kind of stuff, because in that point in time, there was that technology that has been lost to the modern day, humans' realities, like again, history that's been rewritten, right? The victors tell the story or tell the tale, create the truth. And that's kind of what this world is absolutely based on is all those stuff. I mean, you guys, if you're conspiracy buffs, you can throw something in the chat and I guarantee you it's something that has influenced me in one way or the other with the telling or the creating of the story. Also anything within pop culture, like Immortals. I loved Highlander growing up, right? I just love the idea of immortals battling each other throughout time and history. And I wanted to have something like that in the book. So I was like, I want to have a race of immortals so I can have this long arching story, just going back and forth. I was a huge fan of Ninja Turtles. There's going to be ninjas in here.
To you, Rini, when you look at this, when you look at this design for this character here, doesn't this convey fantasy to you?
Yeah, it does. But it's also it's very fantasy, but it's sort of like on some. Yeah,
it's like
the answer is yes. Yeah, I really like. I don't know if it shows up on my screen, but I'm just oogling at the art. Like there are little skulls and these little spires in the back. That's gnarly as shit. I love stuff like that.
And this page, this was drawn by, and this was drawn by Oliver Isabedra. This is one of the artists on the supplemental book. I wanted to bring an artist that represented kind of like my style and like a house style. So I'm kind of trying to create like a house style for Superior Press book. So when you get a book from me from Superior Press, it's going to have a similar feel no matter who I have drawing it. I'll always be working on the main title, Reaper Destroyer, but I love working with talented guys like Oliver. And with this story, with the story of Apophis, which is this character in the main book, he is the spirit of death that is also trapped in the suit of armor that is trying to possess Matt's soul. That whole conflict is like I explained kind of like a buddy cop, but not in a buddy cop way. But there's definitely these characters don't like each other; they're forced to work together, and that's basically it. So there's a lot of backstabbing even within the two main characters. But the character of Apophis was really interesting. I'm not going to tell too much about where he is right there, but he's in his own dimension. We're going to figure out why and how he got trapped, in the suit in issue 1. So it's going to coincide with that pretty well.
Cool. Somebody, Dangosilla asked earlier if this is a different generation of Reaper Destroyer. Well, it kind of looks like that, doesn't it?
It has a lot to do with it. It has a lot to do with that. I'll just say that. Yeah, it's not quite that, but yes. And there is that, there's, because the reason why I like characters like Spawn, Witchblade, the Darkness is there have been other wielders of that power, right, going throughout history. And it's the same thing with Reaper Destroyer, except just less. Like it's like every 1,000 years. And then there's this giant time where the Reaper Destroyers just disappeared for some odd reason. We'll get to that in the book, but there is a direct correlation. Sorry. No, sorry. There's a direct correlation with this character and with the reason why the Reapers look the way they do. I'll say
that's not a spoiler. You know what, Kayla's here. No. She's your spoiler alarm.
No, actually, I'm more like the comment, because what you think you see and what you think you know, you don't know. You don't know.
Very true.
I will tell you that much. So
there's twists and turns in this.
Always what they appear. And that's why, like, Joe, we see Joe's artwork. We always talk about Joe's artwork, but Joe's story writing capabilities are phenomenal.
Well,
so, and I wouldn't lie, you know, anyone that knows me knows I'm like a big Chris Claremont reader. And for comic books, I mean, Chris Claremont is it. He's a model. If you want to write, you want to look at Chris Claremont's writings. And just like, you know, obviously I'm a huge fantasy nerd, so all the books I've read over time. But Joe's stuff, it's going to be really hard for you to pin down, because what you think you know, you don't know. And if you're given some information, that information is probably not going to be revisited for a little bit down the line. So, and then you got to piece things together. He does what I call like the mystery box style of writing or puzzle piecing. So you're only given just a little bit, and then there's so many other things going on. You don't, like, everything else is so cool, and you just don't know. You're going to have to keep reading to find out. So there's more than what meets the eye with this.
That's good. That's a good kind of storytelling, sort of tying things together in the end and like interweaving plot threads. Sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I've always been. We were on Jeremy's channel on Saturday, and they were talking a little bit about the TV series From that everybody's really getting into right now, and that has a lot of people that worked on Lost worked on From. And the thing that was good about Lost before it kind of went weird there towards the end was just the slow storytelling and use of lots of flashbacks. So you can carry on a current story in modern day or whatever, but you can constantly do flashbacks to fill in, you know, why this character is the way they are, what happened to this character, slowly piecing together the history as the entire story moves forward. From does that a little bit as well. And I've just always enjoyed that because it allows you to get right into the story without having to do like an origin. You know, I don't like having to sit through origin stories because a lot of times they're slow and they're drawn out. You know, you got to show how this character became this character and what sets up the story, blah, blah, blah. Where you could just throw the reader into a mystery right off the bat where you are finding things out as the main character is finding things out as well. I just like that aspect so much better than, boom, here you go. This is why they are, and let's go fight crime, you know?
Someone in chat said, I can't find it, said mystery box makes it sound like there's no plan. I think that's when mystery boxes are done badly.
That's when it's done incorrectly. That's someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people do it badly because they think they're smarter than they actually are. But clearly Joe has a plan here.
He has exposition.
Yeah, I saw, you know, like, I think, who was I keep talking to in the chat? Down Goes Solo. Been asking a lot of questions, and I'm absolutely happy to answer them. But yeah, it's I've got, like I said, I've got at least 25 issues worth of storyline right now to go through, and after that, it can go in completely different ways. You know, so like my whole idea with creating this universe was to create an ongoing story. Because that's what I grew up loving. You know, everything I've ever loved in the 90s was ongoing stories. And now you've got issues there, you know, like Spawn's over 300. You know, like all these characters are still going. The story is continuing. The world is building, you know. That's what I want to do with these characters. I don't ever want it to end. I want to keep on being able to do different things with them, take them in different directions. You know, that's storytelling to me.
All right. We definitely have a plan.
Hi, Mo.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
There's the fat cat. Hold on, I have to pull
well, this one's not the fat one. This is a little one. It might.
That's not the asshole one.
No, Bear is 36 pounds. He's huge.
Oh my god,
that's Monet.
The big old cat.
I know everyone can see that. Like this whole thing is like all comic books and stuff. I have to really get organized. It looks like hoarders back here right now. You see this?
I think you're fine. I think your cat looks like with like the reflection in their eyes. Your cat looks like there's
Come here, Mo.
right there. Yeah. Now I think your background is totally fine. You're amongst comic nerds. That just means you're legit.
This is my good girl.
No.
36 pounds. Yeah.
Oh,
this is not the 36-pound one.
This is the small one.
Pound,
yeah.
She's well, no, because I have the midget cat too. I get 3. She has the little legs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, the munchkin cats.
Yeah.
We always get munchkin cats. That's fine.
So
adorable.
Yes, Kayla is going to become that crazy cat lady.
I know.
In life,
like
that's
at
going
this
to
point.
happen.
At this point, like that's how it's looking. So
that's totally fine. Cats are annoying but wonderful. I totally got us distracted. All right.
Cats, you know, what
the
do
fat
you
one comes, if the fat one comes back in here, if Obarian comes back in here, I'll pick him up and you can see how large he is. He's
yes.
That's what she said.
Do you know, like, all right, so I know you know like Hayao Miyazaki stuff, but anyone that's seen like The Cat Returns, you know, the big cat that's in like The Cat Returns movie, that's kind of like what he's like.
Oh my
God.
No
idea
giant cat. It's this big cat that's in Cat Returns. I think his name is begins with an M, and I can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, he's big like that. He's a beast.
It's just a really big fat cat. Well, when he returns, you must show us.
He's trying to make his way in right now. So
he'll probably jump on something and knock something down because he does it on all the streams.
He has no balance. He's the worst. He's the worst at being a cat there is. He has no balance. He misses when he jumps up on things. He doesn't realize how big he is.
He's a very bad cat.
He's very affectionate.
He's bad at being a cat.
He's just bad at being a cat.
That just makes him cuter. Oh,
yeah, he's kind of derpy, but he's loving.
Yes, derpy cats.
Yeah. And he has a happy stash. So
okay, I have to. Oh, okay. I have to focus. We must focus on the comic.
Joe hates cats.
I'm not a big cat fan.
This should draw our attention back. Here's a treat for all of you.
Yeah, so this is art by Fabio Simo. Follow him on Instagram. Just follow Oliver Isabedra on Instagram as well. The fantastic artists. They're doing stuff all over the place. But the story that Kayla is writing is this story for my character Vanessa, who is one of the big bads of the book. Very, very evil, very sexy, very seductive character. And we needed an artist that could draw women very well, very voluptuous, how women should be drawn, sexy in comics. And there's no actual nudity in here. I just had to put this up so that Indiegogo wouldn't mess with the campaign for any reason, because I've seen people put up scantily clad ladies and had the IGG overlords, take stuff down and make them shadow banned, all that kind of stuff. So I had to just censor it for that reason. There's no actual nudity; it's all implied. But Kayla, if you want to talk a little bit about that story, this is your baby right here.
Okay. So I would say the theme for this story is that physical beauty is a weapon. See, I can't really, this is 10 pages. So my story is 10 pages. Joe's story in the supplemental is also 10 pages. So it's trying not to spoil a story that's 10 pages long.
That's hard.
Very hard. So basically, I think I can talk about Vanessa a little bit and like some of her characteristics of who she is. So yes, she's one of Joe's big bads, and Vanessa is an elder son. So she's one of the people that is one of the race of the immortals. She is not a redeemable character. There is no redeemable qualities about her.
That's 100% true.
I like those.
Yes.
Those are
great
fun.
Evil character.
She
gotta have
is
them.
Basically the definition of evil. Her nature is sadistic. She's very power hungry, but she's also masterful in the arts of seduction. Okay. So she pretty much seeks to dominate all as it feeds her power. She likes to corrupt everything around her and cause nothing but pain and strife. And she pretty much uses everything until there is nothing left. And being that she is basically like in this universe, she kind of wrote the book on seduction. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Oh yeah. She's definitely the original.
Yeah.
I like to throw out that, you know, she's very perverse in her character,
Oh.
I guess you could say.
I think that's all you need to say to sell this book. I feel like you probably got another like 50 sales right off of that.
She's a being like,
you know,
she's very sexually charged, and sex to her is nothing more than like pleasure and indulgence, I would say. I worked very hard on this story. I just want to say
no more. That's this now.
I really did. And someone
you're doing a good job.
I forget who. I think I was on Dusklit Soul Studios, and they asked me like, "What was your inspiration with this story?" And I was like, "Joe." Joe is my inspiration with this story because I was given the opportunity to write his character. He said I didn't drive him crazy, but I felt like I drove him crazy. I was texting him and messaging him like all hours of the day, and I had to know so much because when you're given the opportunity to write somebody's character, you want to write that character and you want things to be on the same page. So what you see in the supplemental, this is a different story because it's from a different time period and it's going to give you more about this character, but it's going to be things that you will see within the continuity of his main books. So everything's like in continuity. I worked very hard. It was just so important to me that everything, you know, if you read this here, when you go to the main book, it's an addition. So if that makes sense.
With this character, it was very important to me to have just a straight up evil character, because there's so many characters nowadays that have redeemable qualities that you could turn good at some point, you know, down the line. They're misunderstood for whatever reason. This is the reason why they became the way they are. You know, it's a tragic backstory and we feel bad for these characters eventually. I didn't want that. I just wanted a straight up evil character that we could all love and hate at the same time and just, you know, have that sex appeal. One of the things, I mean, 90s comics, the women in 90s comics were amazingly drawn, beautiful, you know, beautiful characters, strong characters. And I wanted to make sure that was brought back in this book. And in the first issue, there's a lead up to, I guess it's not really a spoiler. There's a lead up to the introduction of Vanessa in the first issue, but I wanted more of that story. So we got the backup story for her in the supplemental, so we could just kind of expand on her character, because it's one of my favorite characters. Straight up honest with you, I got 3 main characters in this book. Actually 4, yes. Matt, Apophis, Victor, and Vanessa, and I love all 4 of those characters. They're very fun to dive into, and they're all completely different. Vanessa being just a straight up evil one,
and she's
sexy
so cool
evil
too, because she's an elder son, and the elder sons have been around since the very beginning. They've lived many lifetimes, you know, so you kind of get to see the beginning of things. Well, you do get to see like some of the beginning, I would say, unless, you know,
close to the beginning as possible. You get to see a little bit of that. Again, it's all a tease. It's all a slow drip. You know, when you're talking about character development, diving into these characters' backstories, that's why it's an ongoing story. It's not something that could just fit within, you know, a graphic novel or a couple graphic novels. Like, it's just, to me, it's too expansive to fit with that aspect. You know, it's got to be continuously going.
I love it. You heard it. It's a slow drip, just like this art.
And I wrote it very different too. So this story, it's written completely different than how the other story is in the supplemental and the main book.
Absolutely.
Like the tone of it, it's very different. I wrote it in a way that it's kind of poetic a bit, the language that's used, but it's extremely thought-provoking. And what I'm hoping to deliver to you guys is when you read it, you're going to read it and your eyes going to move from panel to panel to panel. So you'll read it and it will just flow through the whole entire page. So you absorb it all in. Because to me, that's like how I like to read a comic book. And then you go back and you look at the art. So
what's interesting about the supplemental is the way I write and the way Kayla write, completely different. Kayla's a great writer. I tend to lean more into action stuff because that's what I like. You know, like I try to make the story as interesting as possible, but I want to lean into action, something entertaining going on in every issue. And Kayla can do that. She can write action, but she can also write thought-provoking stuff. And for this particular short story that I wanted with Vanessa, it needed to be that. Now, it's not a boring story by any means. That's why we can only show a 2-page preview of it.
Yeah.
Like, it gets into some stuff that gets into some nice fantasy horror elements of the book. But when you read like my stuff, Apophis is just like a straight up action fight. It's like the Apophis story in the supplemental is like a cross between like Mortal Kombat and Ninja Scroll, the beginning of Ninja Scroll. You know, it's just a straight up, just cool ass, you know, let's fight for you know, a bunch of pages, and then you get to this story, it brings you back down, slows you down, and makes you think a little bit. So I think it's a really good contrast between the two stories.
I like to think we like yin and yanged it, you know, whereas his story is more like physical action. Mine is more like a lot of mental things to consider. So it's like his stuff takes place in like a physical realm, and my story kind of takes place in more of a mental realm.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then even the colors too.
Well.
Even the colors that we had discussed and everything, he went for more like warmer, intense colors. And then like if you look, he has like the uses of the reds, the oranges, like these really warm tones and these really darker tones. And then I wanted like cooler kind of fantasy looking colors when Joe asked me. So like, you know, the blues and the greens and purples and that kind of stuff, like the lighter stuff and like luminescence and iridescence kind of look to it. So it's like you're getting two different stories, but then they work so well together. So, I mean, I'm just honored I got the opportunity to write, and I can't like thank Joe enough, because Joe could have approached anybody in the world to write the story for him, and he chose me. And I'm like, I just feel very honored for the opportunity that I was presented, because like I've done my editing in comics, I've done my writing in college and writing stuff, but I have not had the opportunity to write a comic yet. And like I'm working on one, and then I'm working on two, one that's never ending. But I haven't had the opportunity to just like write yet and get something done. So for Joe to believe in me and just present me with the opportunity, I don't even think it wasn't even, I was like, yes.
Well, Kayla grew up.
Yes.
Kayla grew up big into comics. Ethan. He grew up big into comics. You know, so I mean, she definitely knows how to tell a story. I've read some of her stuff that hasn't been published yet. It was impressive. I liked how she could tell a story. She had a definite love for the characters that I was creating, which makes it better. You know, like when you have an idea and want to kind of develop those characters, it makes it easy to want to work with a person like that. And Kayla was absolutely that. And it was a joy to work on this story. And there's others. I mean, Kayla's gonna be doing a lot of writing for me in the future for Superior Press in general. I think people are gonna be pleasantly surprised when you read her style of writing, contrasted with mine.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward.
Thank you.
Yes. This does look great, not just the art, but I love what I'm hearing about the world building and the writing. And I think that's what is missing from a lot of media nowadays. Is there, a lot of people are, you know, especially with movies and TV shows and even a lot of comics that I see out there, especially in the mainstream, it's easy to have a pretty polish, and not easy as in, of course, it takes time to learn to draw and everything, but as in really what makes people remember a story is not just the good art. And it honestly makes me so sad to see beautiful art and beautiful designs that are almost wasted on an empty shell. And that's like 90% of what we have now. And I know you guys have actually put in the time and effort, and, you know, Kayla, the way you talk about this, the short story that you did, it sounds like you're really getting into the character, and Joe definitely has that. Well, you've been working on this character for like 20 years, but you're like really into the world building and stuff. And you know, I love hearing that. So I'm fucking excited. And usually I would say, like you said, this side story is really different than the main book. I can see, I'm just looking at like 2 pages here, and the art style is different, but I trust that it'll all tie together because you guys are talking and communicating.
Yeah, it's
I think that will make it work.
It's like for me. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. It's your book.
I was just gonna say the main book it takes place in more modern time. And we do bounce backs between flashbacks and all this stuff to kind of fill in the gaps. It was cool to do the supplemental where we could actually tell a couple short stories from an ancient time with Vanessa, and then the Apophis story it takes place in another dimension. So it just shows the different, the expansiveness of the Reaper Destroyer universe, or the Superior Press universe, of just everything that I've kind of created, and just showing an outlook of everything. So there's quite a bit different feel to the supplemental than there is to the main book, but it all ties in within the same world. And I think it's just a fun way to give a peek at what I've kind of created wise. Like I said, like Rini, building an entire world. Like that's what I've done with Reaper Destroyer, with the exception of make my own language, which I haven't done yet, and I probably never will. But the idea of making an expansive story that crosses time itself, that's what this story is.
Yes, I feel like that's a challenge. I'm like, oh, how much more expansive can I make my world building? I'm gonna come up with some side stories. I love this though, because it's inspiring to see somebody that's really just that's what I love about Comicsgate, because everybody is here. Nobody here is here because it's easy. We're here because we really want to make comics, and it's because we're willing to put up with all the and comics aren't easy to make, but the love that I feel for the medium from you guys and people, people like you and everybody in chat. It's so great. It's inspiring, and I love it. I love it.
It's a great place to be for creators right now. It's an absolute great place to be. The people that I've met in the 2 years that I've been here in CG have been amazing. The people in the chat, the people that have supported the channel, obviously the people that have supported the book, Paulus Arts, I see so many names there in my chat as well. And just all around. It's like this whole, people don't like the word community. I have no idea what you really want to call it, but the Comicsgate umbrella community has been amazing. Fantastic.
The gang, the cult.
Yeah, the gang. The cult.
Let's go right into it. They want it to be a cult.
Let's go nuts. It's the
cult. I mean, that's great. I just saw a comment about self-inserts, and that was the one thing. When I tell you, I communicated with Joe about everything, and I had the freedom to write the story, absolutely, but it was just important to me that I got the tone right for his character, that I embodied his character. I delivered the story that he wanted, and I kept the character true to his character. And that is one of the problems in mainstream comics. People get the opportunity to write something for somebody, and they basically self-insert themselves. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way, Shani has gifted, I think, awesome. 20 memberships so far tonight.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of super chats, and let me just get to that. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead. Yeah.
Segue. Shani has also become a new member, so thank you so much, Shani 1034 for becoming a YouTube member.
Awesome.
I don't think I've seen her in my chat before, so welcome.
She's super cool.
Awesome.
Shani's amazing.
Yeah, and thank you for the gifted super chats. Shani has gifted 15 memberships and then 25 memberships. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Everybody make sure to take advantage of that now. I think you just hit join and then an option will pop up, right? I think so. I post a lot of members only content on the channel, so you guys will see. It's mostly in the community tab, so there's you guys can go take full advantage of that.
She's gonna make you do a duck for her. She's gonna put a bunch of ducks and
that's her
I see it.
Duck.
It's right here.
There it is.
Oh, it's so adorable. I already love her. Thank you for $9.99. It's a bunch of ducks. Duck, 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 duck. Was that? How was that? Did I do it right?
I think it's you got to do
you got to do it like the rapper Fabulous.
I still can't do it right yet.
Duck.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
There you go. That's what she told me.
Thank you for the super chat.
Oh, there you go.
And Lieutenant Hughes for 2. Hail CG, hail chat, hail Joe and Kayla, Hillary, hail Lieutenant Hughes. Thank you very much for 2. And there's more docs. Okay, incoming. Luke and
coming in now. Flood it.
20. Yeah, stinky tofu perfume is real. Okay, a couple people in chat were talking about stinky tofu perfume. Because I'm Taiwanese and stinky tofu is a Taiwanese dish. I did not know that there was stinky tofu perfume. I thought people were just pulling my leg, but apparently it's
that's a real thing?
Right. Shit. Why would anyone make that? I don't know, but good. Like the thing with stinky tofu, it's slightly depending on the way you make it. You have like different levels of stinkiness, and like the stinkiest level, usually they make it just to like scare foreigners, and everybody laughs at them because Taiwanese people are kind of used to it. But it's fermented, so it smells bad, but it tastes really good. It's weird. It's like stuffed fermented tofu, but it's totally fine. Yeah, it's totally fine to eat. So there you go. Taiwanese cultural tidbits. Got the deal cover. Thank you for backing.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And Shanny 1034 for 50. Oh my
Here comes
God.
the ducks.
Woo! Thank you so much. All right.
Hail. Get the ducks flying.
I did.
Okay, I read that twice, but it was $50, so that deserved to be read twice.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you very much. I appreciate it very much. All right. Success. Yes, I did it right. Happy. Oh, I love it, guys. That makes me so happy. All right, we let's refresh the campaign, shall we?
Oh yeah.
Let's see where this baby is at. I mean, you got a bunch of people were saying they backed it. So right now we're at 61,650,004 backers, and let's refresh.
All right.
3 backers, and I feel like you got more probably, but it just hasn't updated yet. So thank you, awesome. Everybody. You know you want to back it. Reaper Destroyer.
Appreciate you guys.
The link is pinned in the chat, so go back it now. Back it now. And so this has been up for almost a year, or in demand
almost
for almost a year. Yeah.
Yep.
Are you? What's the schedule for this?
The art is almost done. We should be heading to colors here, hopefully tail end of June into July, and then hopefully sending it to print. And then my goal is to get this started fulfilling in August. So the schedule is looking good so far. Everything is on track. It was my goal to try to fulfill this thing within that year, time span to the time that the campaign ended. So it'll be right around there, right around July. So I'm pretty happy with it being my first campaign. Everything seems to be lining up pretty good. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that continues. No giant hiccups just yet. So
awesome. All right. I'd love to hear that. I think a year is a pretty good time. I feel like I gave myself should give myself a year, but that was smart. That's smart. It was like that's a good production time where people aren't taking too long, but you also have time.
Some of the advice that was given to me when I was getting ready to crowdfund was don't give expectations that you can't get, so don't say 6 months just because it sounds good, right? So I was just like, it's the first time, and I'm a rookie at this, right? It's my first campaign. I'm entering into a whole new territory when it comes to getting books made, because it's more than just drawing the books. There's a lot to running the campaign and it's getting the books made. So it's all something that's brand new to me. And I want to make sure I had enough time to actually put into it to get the quality out. I don't want to end up getting to a point where I had to rush to get something out and then the quality dipped. I wanted to make sure I took my time, was able to give the exact quality that I'm charging for. And everything was looking great. The talent that I brought onto the book, we've got some top cow inkers, Matt Bat Banning and Joe Weems. We got an Extreme Studio inker on Marlo Alquiza is on the book doing some stuff. Chance Wolf, who worked for Todd McFarlane and did some inking on Spawns on the book. This book kind of became one of those things where I started to really want to work with all these guys that I grew up idolizing, in the industry. And fortunately, I've been blessed enough to have a lot of them come on and do something for the campaign, like this cover right here by one of my all-time favorite artists, Dale Keown, getting a chance for him to do this cover, which is a Pit Number 1 homage. Pit Number 1 is my favorite book of all books in space and time, hands down, number 1. And I wanted to do an homage to, and I got Dale, who was the artist, obviously creator artist of Pit. There's that fat cat.
So
look at that fat cat.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Big old cat.
He's just a blob. Okay,
He's huge. So I went to grab him because he went under my feet. All right.
That's adorable. All right, I'm sorry. I interrupted you by my screaming.
Oh, no, you're right. So getting Dale to get on this book and do this cover for me was a dream come true. And then I also went and got Chance Wolf, who I said before his work, it did some inking on the book, but also recreated the iconic Pit splatter logo, which he created back in the 90s. So he created the Pit splatter logo, and he also did the lettering for Pit early on as well. So I got him to come on and do a version of my logo to make it kind of look like that Pit splatter. And then Joe Chido, who did the original colors on Pit, I commissioned him to do, he hand painted this cover. So it's not the same color scheme, but it's all the same players that were on my favorite issue of all time. I got to jam. And this is the first time they've all jammed together.
Don't you have it there behind you? You should pull it up.
I don't anymore. I moved it into a safer area in my closet.
No, shit.
But yeah, I do. I have the original painting that Joe Chido did. But yeah, this is the first time, and since the Pit days, that these three guys got together to work on a cover. So I thought that was actually pretty special. The first time in history, or first time since, like, let's say Pit 1, Pit 5, that they've all got together and worked on a cover again, and it's on this book. So this cover means a lot to me to have this on the campaign. This is an absolute dream come true.
That must be amazing. It's like you have your idols working on your campaign. That's wild to see. I can only imagine.
Yep. That's why I say I'm extremely blessed to be able to work with the guys to be able to get the guys on this book that I have. Like, never in a million years I think I would ever be able to talk to Dale Keown. So thanks to Comicsgate for that, but also to have him do a cover for my book. I mean, I've had conversations with Dale about this. He knows, and he remembers too. Like, I used to write him all the time when I was a teenager. I'd send fan mail to Full Bleed Comics.
Oh, little Joe sending fan mail.
Dude, yeah, like Dale was my number one favorite artist for the longest time. Him and Silvestri, and so again, like, when I say this is a dream come true, I'm not blowing smoke. This is absolutely a dream come true to have this combination of talent on the book in general, but just to have Dale come in and do an homage to Pit number 1. There's the big face shot, and Cocky, he put his signature so fucking big. He's like, dude, do you think that's too big? And I was like, nah, man.
Put it back.
Make it bigger. Yeah, you Dale fucking Keown. Make that fucking bigger.
Look at that. That's the biggest signature on a cover I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
As it should be. People want to see the cover. Can we trouble you to get the cover from your closet?
Oh, the original? Yeah. Hold on a second.
That'll make everyone very happy. We're just here to torture Joe. Thank you, Joe.
You should when you scroll down, one thing that I think is very impressive about Joe is that his ability with his sequential artwork and his storytelling within the art. Like, it's one of my favorite things. Like, if you go down and actually
the sequentials here.
Yeah, you can keep scrolling. You can take a look at all of it. I mean, I see a lot of stuff that's there's obviously stuff that's not up here on the campaign, but I see a lot of stuff as he works and is working on everything. But if you go down, one more.
Oh yeah, I love this. I love the paneling on here. This is using the sequential art medium it's in a unique way, right? That other mediums can't be. Oh, and this is leading up to that. This is that other character, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Each page gets better. I will say, because I've seen so much of it, and it's not because I'm friends with Joe. I actually I backed Joe's book, and I got his ash can before we ended up building the friendship, and I ended up streaming with him and then had the opportunity to write the story. I was a fan of Joe's work. So seeing this whole book come together and seeing him work on everything, each page gets better and better. Just when you think he can't do something even more outside the box artistically or something cooler with his sequential storytelling, it gets cooler. So it's like as you go through each page, everything just gets better and better.
Thank you.
It's just awesome. So
I'm a big believer when it comes to sequential storytelling of make something interesting. Like I really hate boring. You know, like I like to look at the entire page as a work of art and not just what's in the panels. You know, how can you craft a page? How does it flow? How can you move the reader through the story? How can you keep it interesting, even if there's a scene where maybe there's not a lot of action going on, right? But you can still panel things out to make it fun for the reader to look at. At least I do as a fan of art. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. And I take a lot of influence from storytellers like Brett Booth and Kenneth Rocafort, Greg Capullo, some of these guys that do some really good interesting things with the way they place their camera angles, or just paneling in general. You know, I'm getting a little nerd territory there with the art, but yeah, it's important to me.
Oh no, this is the right place to do that. Barb Rogers just gifted 5 memberships. So many memberships being donated today. You guys are awesome.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Barb Rogers. Another awesome reviewer.
Like Joe's book, even if he didn't have writing in it, which the writing definitely like adds so much to it. And I'm a person, like, I'm a comic book reader. So yes, the art can attract me to a story, but what keeps me there, I won't just keep buying for art. Unless you're Art Adams. That's like
Art Adams.
That's the only person I'll buy art just for, Art Adams.
Yeah.
But you can, when you look at the pages, right? I love that you can see the story within each page. So even if you took all the narration off, or all of the word bubbles, everything, you took it all off, you still would be able to read the whole story pretty much without having any of the writing there, just because his artwork is so great, the story that is being told through it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I was going to comment that all the art flows really well. There's a way of leading the eye, and despite what Sean Gordon Murphy likes to say, there is no real technique to it. It's just, you just have to have a good eye for composition, and it's kind of instinctual, and you have to know how to balance a page and balance. There's people call it varying your head sizes. So that means you don't want all the figure sizes to be the same across your page, because that makes it boring. You want your art to be dynamic, and you want to choose interesting angles. And that's the difference between storyboarding and sequential art, where even if it's a scene where 2 people are talking, you have to keep it dynamic so the page comes to life, and the page breathes, and all these things. And like how here you have elements leading the eye to the next panel in every panel. And even though, and also at the same time avoiding tangents, there's a lot of things to think about in comics, not just drawing good, okay guys? But you're definitely managing that here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, like some people can see some of the things that I've seen if they are a channel member of his, because he has his I stream with him for one of his shows on Tuesdays for Aqua, appreciating comic book art. But he has memberships for his channel. Look at me, I'm just promoting Joe. I'm sorry.
But you're my hype person. I love
Joe, it. But Joe, Rini, I don't mind. I'll talk about your stuff anytime, because your stuff is stuff that I'm into. And plus, you've always been very kind to me. And I feel you're very genuine and authentic in who you are. And I think that's very hard to find within just people in general, especially when it's people that are in the public. So, and I'm a fan of your stuff. So
thank you. That's awesome.
I will only speak about things that I'm passionate about. So if I'm passionate about it, I can talk about it. So you definitely, you want me to come and talk about your stuff? I definitely will, because I'm passionate about it.
That's why I love Kayla. Like she's genuinely honest about the stuff she loves. Like no BS there. You know, that's what I love about it. And yeah, I saw somebody put in the chat, I think it was Alex. If you are a member of my channel, you can see a behind the scenes look at the making a Reaper Destroyer. So if I do a page layout, if I do loose sketches, I put it up for everybody to see. I try not to do no script spoilers, obviously, but there might be some visual spoilers if you are a member of the channel, but you're not really going to know exactly what's going on besides just seeing what I'm working on. But anybody that's investing into the channel, I want to make sure that you guys are getting an in-depth look at the making of Reaper Destroyer as it goes. So you get to see a lot of exclusives that other people don't see, or you get to see them first before anybody else sees them.
Besides me.
Awesome.
That's true. Yeah, or Sean, yeah. Kayla and Sean are like the first two to see everything.
Well, awesome. Go join as a channel member, and I like that. I like having those little extras for our YouTube members, and it's that's a easy way if you do art to have extra content for people who you know, join as well. Little behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun connecting with everybody on the membership side with that.
That's the other thing too about the supplemental is that I think it's so great that because this is something I was interested in, is how he's putting his original Reaper Destroyer book, which I finally did get to see some of it last night. So that was so cool for me, because you really see, and I find it so inspiring. And I said to Joe, I think it's completely inspiring. And I think, you know, it's just awesome that you're putting it at the end of the supplemental, because people are going to see how he progressed as an artist, see how the story, what was kind of kept, what was changed, what was made better. Basically, he just took everything and made it better. You get to see the passion and just the growth behind like everything that he's done and his ideas. So it's just so cool. So if you backed the supplemental, you'll get to see all that. And I promise you, you would be so inspired by what I just saw, like his humble beginnings. And he's still humble now, but the humble beginnings of Reaper Destroyer.
Well, still humble, like, but with the 60,000, but it should be 100. So
it should be 100. You know what? I think it should be 100.
You know, I keep saying, like, obviously things like that would be awesome, but just I never thought this campaign would be 60. You know, so like if this campaign didn't get a single backer after this and I just fulfill, I'd be extremely happy with the success of this campaign. First time out, you know, again, the money number isn't the big thing, but the backer number, you know, going over 1,000 backers was just a huge thing to me. Like it was a super special thing to have happen last Saturday. And that's just, you know, again, it's a humbling thing, you know, like it's, you guys are helping me put out my dream and we're doing it together. We're sharing it together, you know, and that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Well deserved. This is amazing, especially for a first campaign, but you've been preparing this for a long time. So you definitely, clearly, you know what you're doing and it shows. Let's get into 100K. We're not leaving the stream until we get Reaper Destroyed 100K. We'll be here for like
I know it would be here for a while.
I feel like this is
the
kind of book though that it appeals to. So what a lot of people don't realize, like well, people that know me know I worked in shops for a long time, and I worked comic conventions as a vendor and a whole bunch of things, but there are different crowds. So you have your crowdfunding crowd, right? And your people here on Twitter and whoever from the internet, Instagram, wherever the case. And then, but this is a book that will sell anywhere. I feel he could bring this book to a con. It's going to like draw the attention from people that attend cons, and he could throw this book in a shop, however he chooses to do it. And it's going to draw attention there because this is kind of the book that shops are missing. Like, oh, I know the shops are struggling. The shops, you don't say.
Wouldn't they love to have a book like this? Just imagine.
Absolutely, this would draw. And I brought his ash cans in because I go back and I work every October. And I live in Salem, so we get a ton of foot traffic from tourists. And last year we had like the largest amount of tourists ever. And I had Joe send some like ash cans, so not the ones that he was selling. They were like a different version of the ash can. Like it didn't have
a cheaper version of
the ash can because he had done a con. And I was like, oh, can you send some extras? And I put them out, and the response, and even just seeing the different types of people that took interest in it, like it was so cool to me. And I was reporting all my findings back to Joe. Like, okay, you have this group of people as a fan base and this. Aww. And it was amazing.
That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see.
That's cool.
I mean, the whole idea behind this book was to put out something that was quality enough to be on the shelves next to things like Marvel, DC, and all the other independent books that are in the LCSs. You know, like that was the whole idea, was to get the amount of talent on this book to make this thing look like a professional book. Like I wouldn't want to put out anything that's not that standard. You know, it was the same way in music. Like everything I did was to be as professional as possible because that's how I want to present myself, my company, and just my characters, my art, you know, the people I bring onto the book, all of that, you know, has to be top notch as we can do. And the farther we go, you know, the more we're going to do, the better we're going to get, the more talent we're going to bring in and do other books. So it's the whole goal in mind is just to build. But, you know, it all starts here, get this book out, and we can look forward to issue 2 and then keep on building and getting into maybe some spinoffs in the near future in a couple of years here.
Fantastic. Well, I, for one, am looking forward to all of that. I loved not just the art, but this pitch and everything that you guys have said today. And I can't wait. I gotta check if I backed this because I think I did, but if I didn't, I'd be very
goals
mad.
are unlocked, guys. So you're gonna like all these stretch goals that are down here. Everyone that backs today or backs in the future, as long as this campaign is coming, you guys are getting the stretch goals. So you get all this cool bonus stuff too.
Including, and one of these stretch goals became a very expensive stretch goal, but everybody at backs gets this metal, this 9x5 metal print of the, I can't see, it's all
metal print.
But everybody at backs gets this.
The Bible. Where's my Bible?
Nice.
Yep. And this was the original cover to the ash can that this was the first image I ever put up to Reaper the Story that, I'm sorry about the glare, but everybody at backs gets this. It's one of the stretch goals. So that's automatically in there as well.
There it is. There you go.
It's of the ash can.
Oh yeah, there's
I call this my Bible because
it's your story Bible. So,
right. Well, it was like, that's how I ended up meeting Joe. I just loved the ash can so much, like the artwork and the story. I wanted him to come on for an interview. Like when I asked you to come on for an interview, back like when I was doing the stuff on Death Curse. So that's how I met Joe. And we just like, I understood his universe, I guess, in the writing.
You know, that's the thing. Anybody that backed the ash can, because I did a direct to DM kind of campaign with the ash can, is basically if you wanted it, hit me up, information, we exchange it, and then we would ship it out in a month. And we did pretty good with the numbers. We did 2 different campaigns that way before we launched the actual book. And anybody that got the ash can, in the ash can is a breakdown of the story, character bios, and things of that nobody else has seen before the book comes out. So anybody that backed the ash can gets a little bit more of an up on anybody reading the book, just for back. Yeah. So yeah, there's whole sections there you can read about a little bit of the lore, character, world building, all that kind of stuff.
Text? What? Who does that?
Yeah, right. There's some text to read in there, but it gives you a heads up on the universe and what we're building. You know, more so than what I talk. So there's stuff that's in the ash can that I don't talk about live because it. Not necessarily spoiler stuff. I would like people to discover that as you read the book. But that was kind of the surprise for anybody that backed the ash can early. And it's a collector's item. We're never printing those again. That version of the ash can.
Oh yeah, that's a rare item. It's good to have it because that's what backers want, collector's items, and we're close to 62K. Just
wow, that's crazy.
$100. Just one or 2 more backers, please. We're so close.
Wow, that's insane.
Let's do a 62K celebration. We're almost there.
There we go.
Thinking of this.
That could be attainable, yeah.
And let's just click that button, just back it. You know you want to. Do it now. Get it now.
I love it.
Back it.
Fortunately, I still don't have alcohol, and last night I took the nastiest shot.
I don't
ever.
either. So, I was going to get alcohol, and I'm like, I'm running late for the show already, so I don't have any alcohol, and I'm like, I am ashamed of myself. I'm the worst Polish person, and I realize no, the problem is I drank everything I already have, so that actually is a different kind of problem. But anyways, I would drink for this campaign if I had any booze.
You should have seen what I drank last night.
Yeah, it was an abomination. It was good though. I was proud of you. It was
bad. It was so bad. I drank like the remnants of fire. It was like some real alcoholic shit I had to do. Like literally, it was a remnant. The remnants of Fireball mixed with the remnants of Juanito's tequila, and I poured it into a shot glass. And I took one for the team, and it was.
She did. I was very happy for it. It was a proud moment.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Fireball remnants mixed with Jägermeister or something. Which sounds
that wouldn't have been bad, I feel like. But still, remnants of alcohol when you're pouring like what's left of nips that you had left around from like a celebration stream together.
All that just to do a shot so we could say celebrate the 1,000 backers.
I forgot to get alcohol, and I told the people on Saturday that I would take a shot, and I just forgot, and I keep my word. I'm a person of my word. So I had to make something out of nothing. And
by the way, Sooner GM that I saw earlier in the chat was the 1,000 backer. He said he was going to do it. He said, I'm going to be backer 1,000. I'm going to get the destroyer tier. And he absolutely did it. So shout out to you, Sooner GM. We appreciate you. I'm going to try to get work on something special for you for being the 1,000th backer.
I'm going to draw him a stick figure.
Awesome.
Oh, there you go. Original art by
That would be
Kayla.
awesome. Yeah,
you don't want my original art. It's bad.
No, that'd be so cute. You should do it. It'll be a rare item.
It'll be like, it should be burnt. That is bad. It's bad. It's bad.
No,
I am not an artist.
Not as bad as she thinks. She's actually pretty decent.
No,
it's
decent. I can draw eyes. That's it.
Yes, I'm gonna send Sooner GM nudes down. Go so that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that.
Of Sean.
I always tell people to picture me naked on my channel anyway, so maybe I'll start coming through with that threat. You know?
Oh,
you never know. Maybe they'll like
open in the OnlyFans.
Start the OnlyFans. Let's go.
It's gonna be hot, and it's gonna be Joe. It's gonna be Joe in various stages of undressing, holding his arm over parts of his body.
Let the money pour in.
I mean, you really never know. Maybe that'll be what pushes your campaign to 100K.
Next level.
Buy my art.
I completely forgot when I got this.
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot too.
Sorry, everybody's ears.
In person. Yeah, in person this looks so much better. The light kind of dims some of the stuff. It does.
I can see.
But yeah, this was.
I love that fade that traditional art has, and like the texture.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Chiodo colored this with acrylics and what else did he tell me? I can't remember.
Watercolor.
Yeah, watercolor. But yeah, he straight up like this was absolutely just gorgeous. When I saw this in person, I was just so happy with it. And it was cool too because when I hit him up, I was like, I got a Dale Keown cover. You want to color it? And he was like, dude, I'll always work with Dale. He was like, send it over. I was like, sweet.
That's rad. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so jealous. I didn't know the art because it's a portrait, and I thought I didn't know it was, and mostly the signature is so gigantic. I thought it was like maybe a smaller page, like 14, like 10 by 14 or something. No, it's like an 11 by 17. He just took like a fourth of the page signing his name. It's so funny. As he should, because he's Dale fucking Keown.
Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
Dale can do whatever he wants.
He basically.
Yeah, he's earned that right.
He has that he's like God tier in everybody's minds around here, I think.
True. Like but he's been that for me since I was 14. So.
That is so cool. Oh, I'm jealous. All right, let's continue looking at all of these. Are stretch goals. These are the trading cards that everyone's getting.
So these were some of the first stretch goals we released that were all gone within like minutes when this campaign launched. But these are trading cards. This is one of the early drawings I did of Vanessa. It was that sexy, crazy, evil villain that we keep talking about. In one of her forms, and I had a card done by Dan Dahl that was below that. Booty Juice himself did an amazing card there. I absolutely love that. And then Chauncey Blakey, who was in the chat earlier, did this awesome version of Reaper Destroyer as well. And I absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. Knocked it out of the park. And so those are 3 trading cards. There's also a Dale Keown sketch cover trading card that was one of the stretch goals. Will be added to this as well. And actually, I do have to update that stretch goals because I don't have the 60K unlocked yet. But that did get unlocked.
Skulls. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, Chauncey did an amazing job of that.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He still has original art up for sale, and I think that it's so crazy to me that not like no one has really invested in his original art. I mean, some people have.
4 people have, which there's a part of me too that. Don't get me wrong. Like I would love to sell the art. I put it up there on a price tag that would make it worth it because I would love to keep all the art. You know, I would love to keep a lot of the stuff I get to work with.
You don't want to part with it though.
Yeah, there's a part of me that doesn't want to. So that's why I only put up like a limited amount of pages. But anybody that's backed that so far is guaranteed to get a bat or Weems ink. There he is.
There's Chauncey.
Awesome.
There's the guy we're talking about. Yeah, absolutely killed it on that trading card.
And here are these the originals that are still left?
Yeah, so yep, these are nobody's picked anything yet because we'll do that when the campaign's done. But these are some of the examples of the original art that's up for sale, and these are my original pencils inked over by both Joe Weems and Matt Bat Banning right on the board because I wanted to have an old school traditional no like blue line. Like, so I sent my pencils to Weems, sent my pencils to Bat, and they just went right over it old school. And so I got those back, and it's just, again, getting these back in person and seeing them was another just kind of just blow your mind moment, right? That these guys I've grown up loving, like my favorite artist, Keown Silvestri's huge influence on me. Top Cow's a big influence on me. So seeing guys like Weems' name and Bat's name all the time in the 90s with Silvestri's art or just whoever's art at Top Cow, and then get them to work on the book and do a portion of the book was just insane. And their stuff is right in the beginning of the book, right off the bat, and it just, man, it was so fun. It was so fun to see my work go out to them and come back the way it did. And just, I learned a lot. You know, it helped me actually learn a lot with the stuff that they added to my art because my base was all there, you know, but obviously legends are going to do what inkers do. There's a reason why you have inkers on a book, embellishers, finishers. Everybody inks your work a little bit different than even I would, you know. So seeing what they do with certain line work was kind of cool as I grew as an artist, you know.
This page is mad cool. Holy shit. I love all the motion lines that were built into the inks and the way the shading is really well balanced. This is just top tier shit, dude.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I'm trying to edition too.
I like this. You have a line art edition?
Yep. So there is a black and white edition. It's kind of almost like a treasury edition. It's just regular size comic, but it's going to be no script, but it's just going to be the scans of the page. So it's just going to be the original scans of the pages. So you get to see, you know, it's not going to be doctored up where it's contrasted. So it's those thick blacks. You're going to be able to see the different variations where, you know, heavy blacks were done and all that kind of stuff. But just original scans, just like this, are going to be in the black and white version.
Fantastic. I love artist editions or line art only editions. I mean, obviously, I think most artists do, but.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's an artist. You know, we love seeing that, you know. I encourage any creator out there that if you have fantastic art on a project to put out a black and white edition of the book because it's something different when you get to see the line work. Like colors are great. It finishes the book. It makes it feel like done. It's a got done feel. But like the black and white, just you can see all the different line work, all the hatching, just all the effects, whatever you want to, whatever the artist is that does it. It's just right there for you to see. Nothing's covered up by the colorist. And it's killer. Thank you, Henry.
That's how you tell someone that is a true artist. You tell more about artwork by looking at their line art or their pencils or their stuff that's in black and white because color can cover so many things. So that's how you can tell who is a great artist, I feel, is when you look at things that when they're uncolored, because color can do a lot. Color can actually break your project too. You get a bad color
there,
but
not here. Yeah, these look great. I can't believe there's how many original. Let me see. I
think I've sold 4. Yeah, I think I've got 4 sold of the 10. And again, like I said, if nobody else backs it, I'm completely fine with it because the more art I get to keep for my collection, I'm happy with. But I was convinced, people convinced me to put it up there, so I did. And I was happy with the 4 people that backed, and they're definitely guaranteed to get one of these. And well, besides these, you know, other awesome pages that they get to take home as well. So I'm looking forward to sitting down with them after the campaign and going over what they want.
All right, and that's for 1,000. You can get one of, I think 1,000 for a page like this is a fucking steal. So
thank you.
It's gonna be worth a lot more in the future when Reaper Destroyer becomes a household name, right?
That would be the dream.
Yes.
And of course, anybody that backs gets these 6 a.m. stickers, you know. Everybody backs gets these stickers. 6 a.m. I'm like, it's almost one of those things you got to have a 6 a.m. a sticker by 6 a.m. He's just so good at taking the caricatures of your character and just making them just look cool. Like, these are just fun to me.
He does do stickers for everybody. I don't have one yet. I need to get a sticker from him.
Just reach out to him. I guarantee you'll do it. You gotta have one. So cool.
I will for the next book. I love this one. This is the one on the right.
You have a map and you have standees.
I know.
I loved everything that came with your campaign in the second one. I can't wait for that map.
I'll do it for the next book. Yeah, I do have a map.
You do. I'm like amped about the map. Like,
yeah. I'm
Map
about to send that to Factory too, so we'll be getting that in soon. I'm excited.
Maybe I need to order a second map.
Maybe. I mean, no pressure, but it's gonna be really awesome. So
I know it is. I know it is. So
I made it because I want one. That's the only reason.
I'm a map person, so.
So this
cartography, guys. Somebody in chat's gonna be like that and misconstrue our words.
If you want to pick up an ash can, you can. This is a stripped down version of the one that I funded earlier before this campaign came out. So this it's just a black and white version of the 6 pages. It's $5. If you want a version of the ash can that's got all the extras, I still have some of those available. Just DM me and we can figure something out. But if you want to add an ash can on that just has the first 6 pages, a black and white, fully scripted, with the thank you letter that's in it, that's an add-on for $5. So a lot of people have been grabbing that as well. But I had to keep the other one special because I told people, I was like, I'm not going to have that version of the campaign or that version of the ash can reprinted. Like that's why we were doing it early for the people that backed it and got the foil covers and everything.
All right. Fantastic. And I think that's the end of the campaign story. Ashcan cover, original art. You've got a bunch of tiers and the Destroyer, all of this stuff. You get it all.
Yeah, so there is 91 of those sold with the secret tiers. There's anybody that signed up got a secret tier on day 1 for a discounted version of some of the tiers, including the Destroyer tier. So there was, I think there's 51 of those that are in the hidden tiers. Altogether, there's been like 91 of them that have gone. If we get to 100, so far, anybody that's back to the Destroyer tier, because we got over 60. So Rick Saylor, shout out to Rick Saylor. We all know Rick Saylor in the chat. He went and commissioned Jason Bascom to do an original art piece for Reaper Destroyer. That's going to be a print in the campaign. We're going to raffle that off to the Destroyer backers. So one of the 91 so far are going to be able to walk away with that original art after the campaign's over. If we hit 100 of those tiers, we're going to add something else that's kind of special to that because it is a lot of money to invest into the campaign. And we want to make sure that you guys get something special besides everything that you're getting in the book or in the tier itself, which is everything, including the exclusive full foil ash can, which looks absolutely gorgeous. I wish I had it on hand. I need to have it close to me so I can start showing that off again. But it's just a really beautiful looking ash can, full foil, black and white, but just like it really pops. It's awesome. And it's only available in that Destroyer tier. Everything else is pretty standard, combos and all that kind of stuff as well. Variant covers, virgin covers, black and white edition.
All right, fantastic. I love the names you have for the different tiers as well. Reaper.
Yeah, a lot of that goes to the group I put together. Like I said, I really encourage any first time creators out there to do what I did. It was very helpful to get a handful of people together and go over what backer, because they were all backers. What do they like to see in campaigns? What makes them want to back? What don't they like to see? All that kind of stuff. So it was really nice to pick those people's brains to get everything set up. And a lot of people came up with ideas like the Reaper tier or the Destroyer tier, or, all that kind of stuff. So shout out to all those guys.
Awesome. Yeah, so check you have a statue too. I want to make sure we cover everything special in this campaign. Do you have a sample that you want to show?
Yeah, so there is. I'm still working. I'm giving everybody a warning on the statue. I'm still working on the print. The print was absolutely gorgeous. The file. So I'm still working on the print itself to try to get it correct. One thing I've been telling people, if I can't get this design correct, because it's incredibly detailed, then we're going to figure out something to do with the statues, because I don't want to charge people the $45 for the statue and then get the statue and not have it exactly like the print is that I've advertised. So I'm going through right now trying to get this perfect so that this can go out to everybody. If not, we'll find a way I can refund people for the statue, and then we'll work on it. But the detail, it's hard to see here, but it's such the actual file is so beautiful that it's got to be a perfect printing to get everything out. And there's so many tiny little things, like claws and teeth and all this kind of stuff. So
and that's a little dark, but I can see there's a lot of detail in there. I hope you can get that produced.
We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it right now. Cool. So I've been giving anybody just the friendly warning right now. Anybody new that might back the statues, that we are still kind of working on it. And the thing has to be perfect. I don't want to send out anything that you guys get when you back this, that when you open it up, that is not going to be up to par for what you backed. That's just me being honest and transparent with everybody, with what's going on with the statue. So just know.
All right, and all the variants, the line art edition we talked about, the Shelby variant, the wraparound cover, and the supplemental. And that's everything on this campaign. That's a lot of stuff. And all looks fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Let's refresh one more time, but did I miss any super chats? Mo Sizzlack for 5. I don't know if I read this, but thank you very much. Respect.
Appreciate
Reaper
you.
Dale
Thank you.
cover. Thank you so much. We should have a few more backers then. So let's refresh and see. Did we get to 62? Because we were really close. Oh, we
did. Wow, look at that. Right on it.
Yeah!
Holy shit. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll do a shot for that. I will do a shot.
You should do a shot. Take a giant shot.
I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'll do a shot for Kayla too. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, everybody.
You can take another one for me. Let's just get him drunk.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is all I got. I feel like Kayla. I'm running out.
It's kind of hard. I think it's hard for him because of his band days. So I'm out of water.
Yeah, they'll allow drinking back in the day.
Anyways, it's bad.
Oh yeah, your liver has been armored with steel. So, well,
I'll just take the rest of it too, because this is it. I gotta go out and buy some more tomorrow. But
yes,
both for Kayla and Rini doing the shots for everybody here. So hail the chat, hail the backers. Love you guys. Thank you.
I'll hit my vape.
Hit the
vape. You guys are awesome. Well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you. That is so cool. That is so cool.
And it's only going to go up from here. I'm surely, especially because this is your first campaign, 62,000, and it already looks so good. It's so professional. It's just going to go up from here because you'll deliver this and people are going to love it. And like it's because a lot of people, they wait to see, if a creator fulfills, and then they'll back the campaigns. And of course, the more you promote it, the bigger your fan base will grow. So I see this going places. I'm really excited.
Thank you. And I can't wait to get this out to people. Like I'm really itching at the bit to get this out and hopefully August and get this out to people and just start getting the feedback. Like that's going to be so exciting to actually get the book in hand, which I've never done. So like that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Like the ash can was one thing, being able to go through, order the ash can, put that out. That was one thing, but to actually get this book done, printed in my hands for the first time, like that's going to be incredible. Yeah, I might shed a tear, just a tear.
You're allowed a tear. It's an amazing.
Yeah, one tear. Yeah, I can't wait.
It's a great feeling. Well, I'm so happy for you. It's going to be great. And I can't wait to get the book either. Shani 1034 for another 5. Here we go again. Okay. It was a smaller one, so I didn't go on that long. But thank you, Shani. Is it Shani or Shani?
Shani, I believe it is. Yeah.
I can't. What? Oh no! I can't pronounce. This is almost. I've never encountered this before. Sean. I can't pronounce somebody's name. I'll just say Shani.
Welcome to my world. Yeah.
I'm usually really good at pronouncing things, but I can't figure this out. Okay. All right.
I've heard Phil say Shani, but
Shani.
Yeah.
I say Shani.
I used to say Shani, but I swear Phil Diaz calls her Shani, and he's the one that brought her to our chat. So I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
It's Shannon.
It's like Shannon, but short. So Shanny.
Hey, Shannon. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I got it. All right. Thank you for giving me direction.
I love it. Figured it out.
Yeah.
I'm never going to say it correct because my accent, unfortunately. So sorry.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
That's fine. That's
I
fine.
try.
Well,
I can't help it.
That's fine. It's an adorable accent.
It is.
Yeah, I get to sound like the Boston Batman 24/7.
Oh,
You should turn up the Boston accent more. I think people love it. Like
I don't even
You
know
tone
when
it
it
down
comes
for
out
me.
all the time. I like it just it's just there. I never even realized I even had it
Yes!
until people pointed it out. So
I love it though. I love it. I don't know. I have family from New England, and I just love hearing New England accent, and it's dying out too. So many people, especially in like New York, they don't really have that accent anymore. So I love hearing it come back. It's like it's fun.
you have to have
Well, it's
Sean come
interesting,
on here and talk.
I was just gonna
because
say on
his
this-
New Jersey accent is fierce.
Yeah, between Kayla and Sean, when we have Appreciating Comic Book Arts on Art Live on Tuesday, we have the Boston accent and we got the Jersey accents. It's interesting to see them go back and forth. Yeah.
And Joe has no accent. He
And
has a radio
I'm a
voice.
Michigander. I've got the way people usually talk, regular accent.
Oh, regular.
Yeah, the
Oh,
right,
yeah.
the
He
correct
has
way.
the radio
That's me.
voice, though. He has
Yes,
the
that's
radio
true.
voice.
That's true.
So
I do.
He does. He does have a nice voice.
Thank
So
you.
you got the middle American radio voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I embrace everybody's accents, but
Yeah, Bancroft said we're keeping it down here in Australia. That's keeping it
Chris,
going
hello.
down.
Keep going down.
Hey.
Not like that. You guys are thinking dirty thoughts. I already know.
Oh,
All
I already
right.
thought it. Yep.
I know how you guys.
I need to bring the shame bell back for Joe sometimes and just ring it.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be ringing it nonstop if you hang around this channel. I've been toned down. I didn't even mention penises once. Just because I'm a little tired. So
No, that's what it is.
That's normal. Really, I've been frazzled. I've been so busy, guys, because I'm trying to get everything to print, and I'm just like exhausted. But it's fine. It's fine. We're almost at the end.
Almost there.
And then you'll be
Almost
on
made
book
it.
3.
Yeah, and then I'll be on book 3. Actually, I have.
That's awesome.
I have a side story, but that's already almost done. So
What
I've been.
character?
Well, it's not really a secret. I already mentioned it's about Casimir, but I'm really excited about it. I had it was gonna be an Ashcan, and it turned out to be 25 pages. You know how that goes. But I wrote it, and I've been having somebody else draw it, so that was really cool. That was the first time I've done that. Written something that I didn't draw, and so I'm really nervous, but I hope people like it. The art is turning out great, so I'm gonna be running. I wanted to print it with chapter 2, but then I realized it would be better as its own separately because I didn't really take things into account with the chapter 2 campaign. So, anyways, that'll be next, and then chapter 3. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
That's gonna be sweet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'll be announcing the artist.
I'm looking forward to backing anything you do, Rini.
Oh,
You produce great things, and you're also a wonderful person. So you're definitely someone that will always back campaigns when you put something out.
And passionate.
Yeah,
Very passionate.
Absolutely.
You have to be passionate about the things that you're creating. You truly are passionate about what you are creating. And I love seeing that. You can hear it when you talk about it, when you look at your website and you go through everything, and just all of the time you've invested in creating everything for the world that
you
built.
created a freaking language. I mean, come on.
We're all like that, though. We were just talking about your world building for 2 hours. So, that's
but you've actually created a language that is
that's insane. That's cool. That's
level.
That's next level.
Okay. That is next level. People talk about it, but they don't do it. You've done it.
Oh, by the way, I just got done lettering all the pages a couple days ago, and the Nanarsa took so long because it's actually really complicated because it's not I just translate things from English. So I have this system where it's part logographic and part phonetic. So it's kind of like Japanese writing where you have katakana and hiragana and kanji as well. So I can't just plug it in as I have the alphabet, but the alphabet is also not a one-to-one with the English alphabet. So I have sounds that English doesn't have. So I can't just make a typeface out of it. I have to make a whole keyboard. So I can't just type it. I have to cut and paste every letter and then do the translation.
That's impressive.
It took me all day.
It's
but
impressive.
Anyways, I'm done now. The lettering is done. Anyhow, I'm not crazy, but I'm glad somebody likes that. I wonder if I'm insane sometimes.
Insanity's
insane in all the good ways.
Well, we all are. That's why.
That's true.
That's why we're here. Like I said,
that's what we do. We do.
Yeah. It's because we're all passionate, and you have. I think part of what you're doing here with Reaper Destroy has really inspired me is that you go into like the deep history of your world, and that's something that I feel like I love conspiracy theories and I love ancient history and stuff like that. There's a little bit of that in Fiendish, but this has no joke, especially talking about this today. It's inspiring me to probably do more spin-offs of within the world, because I'm always worried about, like, I really want to focus on character, and I think because I feel like that's what's been lacking in, with all the world building aside, I think like people know about, like, I'm really into like the language and all this blah blah blah, but really what readers will latch onto is character, and I really do believe that. So if your characters are, it's not just being relatable, it's, I think I like to use the word compelling. That's what's most important. Right. But once you have that established, exploring the world just adds more interest. And like with the depth you went to with Reaper Destroy, going into the ancient history, that has honestly inspired me to probably do some more Fiendish in the future. I'm like seriously thinking
that's
about that
awesome.
now. So, we all inspire each other. I'm so inspired. I'm so awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, this is that's why I love being around here. You guys are so great. Darko's should do a Fiendish spin-off. Oh yeah, I should. I thought you said Fiendish ripoff like we had with that other Kickstarter campaign.
Oh yeah, the Kickstarter? That was insane.
Oh, that was
stupid.
That got taken down, right?
That got taken down. Yeah,
okay,
we're fine.
Good.
Yeah, that got
That's
taken
crazy.
down.
That shit is crazy to me.
Yeah. I don't understand how any of that even happens, or what is the, because it's happened on Indiegogo too. It's happened on actually every crowdfunding website, I think, but I don't know enough about Fund My Comics, so I can't speak on anything about that because that's newer. But as far as like Indiegogo, things like that have happened to people as well. So it's I don't even know. I don't understand how there isn't, like, how do they, when you put something up, how do they, I don't know.
That's the thing that really baffled me, because Kickstarter has, they check every campaign, and I was like, how did you not check this? I mean, I guess you can't be aware of every single crowdfunder across all platforms, but it was just so obvious. It's kind of,
you figure they have like the technology that people do with people's faces. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to, you can like reverse image search a face, that they could do that with artwork for someone's campaign or something.
Right.
There's art that's already existing and someone's taking it and trying to, I don't know.
Yeah, you would think they'd be able to track that stuff down, but it got taken down, so that's good. That's all that matters for now. And thank you everybody who helped me hound Kickstarter to get that taken down. I really appreciate it.
In a way, it's flattering, though. If you think about
in
it,
a way, yeah.
Because I mean, it's a horrible thing to do. I think whoever did that is the scum of the earth to do that to somebody. But it's flattering because that means that your stuff was that good that they felt that they had to do that, to do something with themselves.
I guess.
Look at it that way.
Shameful, right? Yeah, it is flattering in a way, but
because you wouldn't take someone's work that's shitty and ever do that, and so they took your work because it was good. Although what they did to it when they put it up, that was an atrocity. So
it was so terrible. I did a whole stream laughing at them. If you guys are interested and watching me just melt down for like 2 hours, but it has been taken down. So the only campaign that has my Fiendish art up is my actual Fiendish campaign, and I'm happy because that's the way it should be. You don't fuck with my baby, he'll come after
yes,
you.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You dare touch
Claws out. Let's go.
Grr. Yeah. Well, speaking of, if you don't mind, if I may pull up my shit for a minute,
Yeah, let's do it.
Shit.
Just real quick, because I want to won't let you guys go. I feel like we'll come back around and refresh one more time, and because I don't want to keep you guys here forever. But if I may, real quick, Fiendish. This is my Fiendish website. If you guys didn't know, I have a website full of all kinds of stuff and world building information, and I need to update a couple things. I also have a blog. I post some subscriber only content on here, so you guys should check that out. So I have like members. Nice. I mean, it's pretty much the same stuff as my YouTube members content, but I do post like exclusive content. If you have a few bucks to spare every month, and I do appreciate it. And Fiendish Chapter 2. Origins is almost at 172. Thank you guys so much. That's crazy. We are nearing the end of production. Everything is done except a few pages of colors. I forgot how many pages of colors, but my colorist is crunching on it now. I've been bothering him every day. I'm sure he's very annoyed, but it's like I'm like
crack that whip.
We want those colors. Yeah. So we want to be print ready by the end of the month, and the printer said, my printer is awesome. My printer said they can take it to print right away and be delivered in a couple weeks. So I want my fulfillment guy RJ at Critical Blast to have the books by mid-June. At mid-June is my hope. Late June is the latest, because I'm just like hounding everybody. I'm being really annoying right now, but I want to start fulfilling babies. That was my goal. And the colors are a little behind, so I'm worried. But we are approaching deadline. Like, unfortunately, my colors had some family stuff come up, but we are almost done. Everything else is finished. I finished the letters. I have like all the print files ready. I'm just like, I need to plug these pages in and just throw them at the printer. So the art book is already, I sent the other items to production already. The art book, the map, the standees, those are already sent off to the factories. The merch stuff, like the standees and the map, are getting made in Taiwan. So with the same people that made the standees for Chapter 1, they're really awesome. So those are already out to production. And I'm currently, oh my gosh, I've just been working non-stop. It's insane, because it's like, I thought you would think like after I finished the inks, it would be easier. No, it's not, because I was helping my colorist do flats, because we ran into issues with flatters, not doing their jobs, and so I was doing flats, and then helping him out with that, and then I was doing the print files, and then I was finishing up the lettering, and I didn't realize that the NARSA lettering would take me all day, and then I was going back and forth with printers, and you guys know that takes forever. And now the next thing I'm doing is I need to color the trading card. So I have the trading card art in from other people. I hire somebody to do a trading card, but we have three trading cards that are going out to everybody. One, the Ragna one, is only for the sign up people, but I'm coloring the trading cards, and that's my task by the end of the week. And then those are also going out to print. And then maybe I can actually take a breath and get a full night's sleep sometime next month. That would be nice.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
It's awesome to see the second campaign do what it did. Yes. Just a major jump from the first campaign. I mean, just you exploded. I think everybody realized that this was a campaign that was on the come, that was going to hit that 100K, and you did. And you're just moving close to 200. That's crazy. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. It was really awesome. It's one of those things where I keep on just like, I don't want to have expectations too high, because I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm just like, as long as I don't do. I just wanted to do, like, with the first book, I thought I had like 50 backers on an art book I put up in like 2019. So I thought I'd get like, it'd be nice if I get 100. I got like 1,500.
Yeah.
And with this, then I decided with chapter 2, I just wanted to keep it. Oh, if I just get this about the same, that's great. But we have over 2,000. So thank you guys so much. You're amazing. All of the sleepless nights are worth it. I'm so excited to show this to you. So thank you all so much. And the campaign is going to be coming down in a couple weeks, I think. Because we have to get to fulfillment. I'm going to need final numbers, and because we're going to be doing, let's see. And long story short, I'm going to need final numbers. I just want to start fulfilling, and all the covers are campaign exclusive anyways. So I'll be shutting this down in a couple weeks, early June, so we can start shipping, and then you guys can look forward to getting your books. And I'm going to have that side story campaign that I'm calling Chapter 2.5 out sometime later this summer. Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Looking forward to reading this.
Thank you. I hope you like it.
Everybody knows I don't really read, but I'm definitely looking forward to looking at this and then reading.
That's what he meant. I was going to say.
Everybody calls me out because I'm completely honest. I read comics for the art. I'm an art first guy. I like follow artists around, not so much characters or story. Like I'm about the art. If you produce really good art, I want to pick up the book and just enjoy it. I want to appreciate it, and then I read stuff when I get a chance, but I'm much more like to get into the story as the sequential art storytelling, like that gets me way more than reading script. That's just me. I'm weird like that, but people, I get called out for it. It's okay. I don't read.
I think a lot of artists are. Oh, sorry.
Did you get Reenie's first art book, like that was in the first campaign? The regrowth. What was it called? I have it. I don't know where it is right now.
Regrowth. Yeah.
Regrowth. That's what I was like. Regrowth. I can't remember off the top of my head. That you have to look through some of that, Joe. There's really cool stuff in there.
I love books like that.
I love Reenie's art style because there's no one that has her particular art style. It's very unique. Yeah. There's gorgeous artwork in there.
Yeah. This is mostly old stuff.
But it's gorgeous.
You can get it with this campaign too. Because I already have these files. These are already getting printed. So these it's a second printing, but it's the same stuff. So yeah.
You just have a very unique art style.
Aww.
It's very unique. Like,
yay.
I can always tell when you did a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
Like, you draw some of the sexiest characters too.
Yes, as well.
Like, some very beautiful women.
Gorgeous women.
Oh, thank you.
Gorgeous
I do embrace the booba. So
yes, got to.
But it's also the face, the eyes, the mouth,
the proportions, the hips. Come on, now, let's go.
Everything.
Yes, the hips. I embrace the curves. I think, and I love what Kayla said earlier about. I think that was specific to the character you were writing, but I think female beauty is powerful. I think that's what's being lost so much in not just comics, but media. And like, it's so absurd where all these modern media and like this stupid, beer ad was saying, well, it's demeaning to women to be in bikinis. What? Utter bullshit. Right? Female beauty is one of the most powerful things. It's like they don't understand hard power. The only power they see is like hard power, muscle power. They don't understand psychological and social power. But that's what femininity and female beauty has. And I want to bring that back in my storytelling, my writing, and my art. I think that is great.
100% agree with you.
Kind of like the premises of my story, pretty much, in a way.
Yes.
Beauty is power, and beauty can be weaponized if used correctly. So
in good ways and bad.
Dangerous thing. Very dangerous to those that are unaware.
The female form is just beautiful. Women's bodies are beautiful. Is what it is. Can't deny it. Embrace it.
Yes.
Touch it. Rub
Touch
it. What, too much?
Right.
Too much?
Too much, Joe.
Sorry.
Too much.
Getting into it.
Okay.
All right. Enough.
I was getting too much into it.
Just, like,
Sorry about
touch
that.
it. Rub it.
Too into it. Oh dear. Check out Fiendish 2. That's my book. Check it out, everybody. And back to Reaper Destroyer now. Let's refresh one more time. Let's see if we got any more backers. Speaking of sexy things, this book is sexy. You know what's sexy? This book is sexy. And you know what? So back it now. I tried. Was that a good segue? Not really.
That was good. I
think it was.
That was
I
good.
think it was really good. We should clip that.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
yeah,
should.
go ahead. Go
Should
ahead. It is a sexiest book. Back Reaper Destroyer, the sexiest book in CG.
Ooh. I like that.
He reaps and destroys.
He reaps and destroys. That sounds like something else. Oh, it did go up.
Look
You
at
got
that.
another backer.
Nice. Thanks so much,
Oh.
everyone. That's overwhelming. It's so cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. That's awesome. All right, congrats again, and thank you everybody who backed this book. You guys are awesome in chat. And anything else that I missed? Any last words?
That's all I can think. Back the book if it looks good. A lot of years, blood, sweat, and tears, and other things went into the making of this book. A ton of talent brought onto this book. So thank you everyone that's backed it, and anybody that's going to back it in the future. I'm humbled and very appreciative. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Oh, I forgot to play. I'll play the trailer on the way out. All right.
Okay.
I should do that. All right. And but before that,
It's metal. It's metal.
Awesome. I should have played it. Yeah, I usually play it after my intro, but I forgot today, so I apologize. But I'll play it on the way out, and I think I've seen it before. It's a really good trailer. All right. Where can everybody find you guys? Kayla?
Well, you can look.
No,
do Kayla first. Yeah, ladies first.
Oh, sorry. I was like,
Comics and Cleve on Twitter. And then I'm with Joe on Tuesdays for AKBA, which is Appreciating Comic Book Art Live. So
Yes.
I'll be with Joe and Sean. And and I'll be doing my stuff with Death Curse and doing my stuff with Joe and possibly doing stuff on my own. I might open a YouTube stream at some point for my questions of the day. I know. Yeah, I know.
And you can follow me, Joe Sonntag, Joe M. Sonntag on social media. I'm primarily on Twitter, but I'm on all, I guess, the big social medias, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube under Joe M. Sonntag. Like Kayla said, we do Appreciating Comic Book Art Live on Tuesdays, where we sit down and look at comic book art. We appreciate it for a couple hours and just really have fun discussions about all the artists that inspired me primarily, but also the people that are hosting on the show as well. We will do an Art Adams at some point. Also, Odd Stuff on Thursdays. Hot and Stuff on Thursdays at 8 o'clock, although we are moving starting next week to Wednesdays at 11. So that's a show I do over there with my co-host Sean Arendt, where we talk comics and have guests on and look at people's books as well. So check out, if you haven't checked out my channel, please do. If you like comic book talk, it's definitely the place for you. And back Reaper Destroyer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Back to supplemental. Back to supplemental.
And the supplemental.
Get
everything.
the 2-pack.
Get everything. Get some original art. Joe can use an extra $1,000.
Get the original art.
Get the original art.
Whatever your heart tells you to do, just follow it.
Fall in love with comics again.
Ooh,
Give
like
Reaper
that.
Destroyer a shot. Okay.
That
It will
was
help
good.
you fall in love with comics again. It is the comic book that the comic industry is missing, and it is needed. You will love it.
Yes.
I fell in love with it. That's why I'm like so happy that I was.
No, that was
like,
good.
You want to
really
write?
good. Yeah.
You want to
Clip
write
that.
a story?
Use that.
Yes.
All in love with comics again.
Well, if you want more erudite, amazing prose like that, you should definitely back Reaper Destroyer and get Kayla's supplemental.
Yes. Do it. Do it now.
You gotta get them both. They go together, so you have to get them both because everything, it all works together.
Oh,
If you got to the Destroyer tier, it's already in there. So you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
If you already backed the Destroyer tier, it's already included. So don't have to back again.
All right. Awesome. Back everything. And thank you guys again for coming on today. I really
Thank you for having us
appreciate it.
on.
This was a fun show.
This was awesome. This was fun.
It was fun, and it's a really quality campaign. So I can't wait to get it. And again, really, really good work. And I'll play the trailer on our way out. As I forgot earlier, but we should definitely.
It's all right.
Hold on.
Yeah,
it started playing in my headphones and I didn't share because I'm stupid. I'm good at this, guys. Okay.
I love it.
Bye.